This is 1004.7 FM. You're listening to Late Night with Daniel Rothman. It is currently 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday evening, and we've got clear skies across the metropolitan area. Temperature sitting at a comfortable 62 degrees. If you're just tuning in, we've been taking calls about the City Council's proposed parking restructure downtown, and I have to say the response has been, well, passionate would be one word for it. Before we get back to that riveting discussion, I want to remind everyone that tomorrow morning we've got free coffee at the station courtesy of Moreno's Roasters on 5th Street. Stop by between 6 and 9 a.m. Tell them Daniel sent you. They won't give you a discount or anything, but it'll make me feel important. All right, let me check the traffic real quick. We've got reports of some congestion building on Interstate 74 near the Riverside exit. Looks like something's got people slowing down. Probably a fender bender. You know how it is. One person taps their brakes and suddenly everyone forgets how to drive. If you're headed that way, maybe take Miller Road instead. Save yourself some frustration. What else? Weather for tomorrow is looking beautiful. Sunny, high of 71, low humidity. Perfect day to get outside if you've been cooped up all week. I know I have. This booth starts to feel like a submarine after a while. No windows, just me. The microphone and the gentle hum of equipment that's probably older than I am. Speaking of which, I've got a question for you night owls out there. Do you ever wonder who else is listening at this hour? I think about that sometimes. It's almost midnight on a weekday. Who's awake right now? Truck drivers. Probably. Night shift workers. Insomniacs. New parents walking a crying baby around the living room. Students cramming for exams. People who just can't sleep because their minds won't stop running. There's something intimate about late night radio. During the day, everyone's distracted. They've got places to be, things to do, but at night it's different. It's just us, just voices in the dark. Anyway, that's enough philosophy for now. Let me see what's happening in the world. Looks like the Senate is still debating that infrastructure bill. No surprise there, they've been going back and forth for weeks. I'm not going to get political on you, but I will say this. If they spent half as much time fixing potholes as they do arguing about fixing potholes, we'd all have smoother commutes. International news is quiet tonight. Some economic conference in Geneva. A minor earthquake in Chile. Magnitude 4.2. No injuries reported. The usual stuff. Oh, here's something interesting. There was a meteor shower visible over parts of the Pacific Northwest earlier this evening. I love meteor showers. There's something humbling about watching rocks from outer space burn up in our atmosphere. Reminds you how big the universe is and how small we are. In a good way, I mean, not in an existential crisis kind of way. Hold on, I'm getting an update on that traffic situation on I-74. Looks like it's not a fender bender after all. Reports are saying something fell from the sky. A piece of debris, maybe, could be related to that meteor activity. Emergency services are responding. If you're in that area, they're asking people to avoid the Riverside exit and use alternate routes. That's interesting. We don't get a lot of meteor debris around here. Usually it burns up completely before it reaches the ground. When something does make it through, it's typically pretty small. Not the size of a pebble, but occasionally you get something bigger. Remember that one in Russia back in 2013? The Chelyabinsk meteor. That thing was massive. Blew out windows across the city. Injured over 1,000 people. Most of them from broken glass. I'm not saying that's what happened on I-74, probably just a small fragment. A curiosity more than anything, but still, it's not every day you get to see something from outer space up close. All right, it's midnight. Thursday has officially become Friday. For those of you who made it this far, congratulations. You've survived another day. That's no small thing. Coming up after the break, we'll have our midnight news update, and then I'll be taking more of your calls. The number is 555-0147. That's 555-0147. Call me about parking. Call me about meteors. Call me about whatever's on your mind. I'm here until 4 a.m. and I've got nothing but time. This is Daniel Rothman on 104.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back, 12:04 a.m. Let's get into that news update. Top story tonight. Congress has reached a tentative agreement on the transportation funding package. Details are still emerging, but sources say the bill includes provisions for highway maintenance, bridge repairs, and expansion of rural transit systems. The vote is expected sometime next week. In local news, the mayor's office announced today that the downtown revitalization project will begin construction in early spring. The project includes new green spaces, improved pedestrian access, and upgrades to the aging stormwater system. Residents in the affected areas will receive notices about temporary road closures in the coming weeks. Sports, the Tigers pulled out a close one tonight, beating the Wolves 87-84 in overtime. Martinez led the scoring with 23 points. They'll face the Bears on Sunday. Weather remains clear and mild. No precipitation expected through the weekend, and we're continuing to monitor that situation on Interstate 74 near the Riverside exit. I've got some more information coming in now. Apparently witnesses are describing what they saw as a bright green flash in the sky before something impacted near the highway. Traffic is backed up for approximately 2 miles in both directions. Emergency services have established a perimeter around the impact site. This is interesting. I'm seeing reports that some kind of vapor or gas is visible at the location, probably just steam from the heat of impact. When a meteorite enters the atmosphere, it's traveling incredibly fast. The friction generates enormous temperatures. If it landed near any water or wet ground, you'd definitely get some steam. Police are asking motorists to remain in their vehicles and keep windows closed as a precaution. Standard procedure for any unknown situation, really. Better safe than sorry. I'll keep you updated as we learn more. Now, I promised we'd take some calls, so let's do that. Lines are open. 555-0147. What's on your mind tonight? While we wait for callers, let me share something with you. I've been doing this job for almost 15 years now. Started back when I was 23, fresh out of college with a communications degree and no idea what I wanted to do with my life. Fell into radio, kind of by accident. A friend of a friend knew someone who worked at a small station upstate. They needed someone to run the board on weekends. Minimum wage, terrible hours, but I loved it from the first day. There's something magical about radio. I know that sounds corny, but it's true. Television is flashy. The internet is everywhere. But radio is personal. It's a voice in your ear, a companion in the darkness. When you're driving alone at 2 in the morning, the radio is the only thing keeping you company. I've heard from people over the years who say this show helped them through difficult times. Divorces, illnesses, grief. They tune in just to hear another human voice, to feel less alone. That means more to me than I can express. All right, looks like we've got a caller. You're on the air with Daniel Rothman. What's on your mind? Actually, hold on. I'm being told we've lost that call. Technical difficulties. It happens. Try again if you're out there. Let me check back on that highway situation. I'm refreshing my feed here. Okay, this is getting more interesting. Multiple reports now of a greenish haze visible in the area around the impact site. Authorities have expanded the perimeter. Some witnesses are describing an unusual odor, though accounts vary. Some say it smells like sulfur, others say it's more chemical, like burning plastic. I want to be clear here. This is still a developing situation and we don't have all the facts. It could be something completely mundane. Industrial chemicals from a nearby facility mixing with meteorite debris, unusual mineral composition causing discoloration. There are lots of possible explanations. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. We don't get excitement like this very often. Most nights the biggest story is a broken water main or a local business closing. An actual meteorite impact with mysterious green vapor, that's something else entirely. I'm going to try to get someone on the phone who can tell us more. Stay with me. It's 12:17 a.m. Temperature has dropped to 60 degrees. Still clear skies overhead. If you step outside right now, you can probably still see some residual meteor activity. Little streaks of light here and there, the universe putting on a show. I've been thinking about what it must have been like for people throughout history when they saw meteors. Before we understood what they were, imagine being a farmer in medieval Europe, looking up and seeing fire falling from the sky. You'd think the world was ending. You'd think God was angry. You'd think all sorts of things. We're lucky in a way. We have science. We have explanations. We know that meteors are just chunks of rock and ice burning up as they enter our atmosphere. Nothing supernatural about it, just physics. But there's still wonder in it, isn't there? Knowing how something works doesn't make it less beautiful. If anything, it makes it more so. Understanding the forces involved, the distances traveled, the sheer improbability of any particular piece of space debris ending up right here, right now, that's miraculous in its own way. All right, I've got someone from the emergency management office on the line. Hello? Can you hear me? Actually, no. We lost that one, too. Connection issues tonight. Must be something with the phone system. Or maybe everyone's trying to call about this meteor thing and the lines are jammed. Let's try a different approach. I'm going to read directly from the emergency services scanner. This is what first responders are saying to each other in real time. Unit 7 reporting heavy traffic northbound on I-74. Requesting additional support for crowd control. Multiple civilians have exited their vehicles and are approaching the impact site despite warnings. Unit 12, be advised vapor appears to be spreading. Wind direction is northeast. Recommend evacuation of vehicles within 500 meters. Copy that. Unit 7, can you confirm visibility conditions? Visibility is poor near the crater. The gas is thick. Can't see more than 30 feet. We need hazmat here now. That's concerning. They're calling for hazmat teams. That suggests they're taking the vapor seriously. Could be nothing, could be standard precaution, but it's worth noting. I should mention that emergency scanner traffic can sound more alarming than the actual situation warrants. First responders are trained to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. Calling for hazmat doesn't necessarily mean there's a serious threat. It means they're being careful. Still, if you're in the I-74 area, please follow instructions from authorities. Keep your windows up. If you can safely exit the area, do so. Don't approach the impact site. I know it's tempting. I know you want to see it, but let the professionals handle it. It's 12:29 a.m. I'm Daniel Rothman, and you're listening to Tinjuo 4.7 FM. We'll continue to monitor this situation and bring you updates as they come in. Let me give you some context on meteorites while we wait for more information. Most meteors that enter Earth's atmosphere are tiny. We're talking grains of sand, pebbles at most. They burn up completely miles above the surface. The ones we see as shooting stars are usually no bigger than a marble. For something to actually reach the ground, it has to be substantial, probably several meters across before entering the atmosphere, and even then most of it burns away during descent. What remains the meteorite is typically a fraction of the original size. The composition varies widely. Some are mostly iron and nickel, some are rocky, some are a mixture, and very occasionally you get something unusual. Meteorites containing amino acids, organic compounds, even traces of water. Building blocks of life delivered from the cosmos. I'm not saying that's what fell on I-74, I'm just saying that space is full of surprises. 12:33 a.m., new reports coming in. This is from a traffic helicopter that was in the area. They're describing the scene as chaotic. Quote, dozens of people have left their cars and moved toward the impact zone. First responders are struggling to maintain the perimeter. The vapor has spread significantly and is now visible from the air as a greenish cloud approximately 200 meters in diameter. End quote. 200 meters. That's bigger than I expected, and it's spreading. You know what, I'm going to switch gears here and see if I can find any official statements. The mayor's office, the governor's office, FEMA, anyone who might have information. While I'm doing that, let me play some music for you. Here's a classic to keep you company. We'll be right back. Actually, scratch that. No music. I want to stay on this. Something about it feels important. More scanner traffic. All units, be advised. We have multiple civilians down near the impact site. Unknown cause, requesting immediate medical assistance. Say again? Civilians down? Affirmative. At least 6 individuals are on the ground. Unresponsive. Possible exposure to the vapor. Copy. Ambulances. En route. ATA 4 minutes. This isn't good. People are collapsing. That changes things significantly. We're not talking about a curious geological event anymore. We're talking about a potential public health emergency. I need to stress this. If you are anywhere near Interstate 74 and the Riverside exit, leave the area immediately. Do not stop to look. Do not approach the impact site. This vapor, whatever it is, appears to be harmful. I'm going to try to reach the hospital, see if they have any information about what they're dealing with. It's 12:39 a.m. Temperature is 59 degrees. Conditions are clear except for the affected area. Okay, I've got St. Catherine's Medical Center on the line. Hello? This is Daniel Rothman with 104.7 FM. Can you tell us anything about the situation on I-74? I'm being told they can't comment at this time. They're preparing to receive patients and all available staff are being called in. That's all they can say. Not exactly reassuring, but I understand they've got more important things to do than talk to radio hosts. Let me try the police department's public information line. Busy signal. Of course, fire department. Also busy. Everyone is overwhelmed right now, which tells you something about the scale of what's happening. 12:44 a.m. I'm scanning social media now. People are posting videos from the scene. Let me describe what I'm seeing. One video shows the highway from what looks like an overpass. You can see the line of stopped cars stretching back into the darkness. In the distance, there's a faint green glow. The vapor is clearly visible, hanging in the air like fog. You can hear sirens in the background. The person filming is saying something, but it's hard to make out. They sound scared. Another video is from someone closer to the impact site. The vapor is thick here, obscuring the ground. You can barely see the figures moving through it. Emergency lights flash in the haze. The caption says, "What the hell is this stuff? I don't know. I wish I did." More scanner traffic. Unit 12. We need to pull back. Repeat, pull back. The vapor is causing rapid incapacitation. What about the civilians? We can't help them if we're down too. Fall back to the secondary perimeter. Wait for hazmat. But those people, that's an order. Fall back now. They're retreating. The first responders are retreating. That's how bad it is. It's 12:51 a.m. I want everyone listening to understand the seriousness of what I'm about to say. This is not a drill. This is not a hoax. Something has fallen from the sky and it is harming people. If you are in the affected area, get away. If you know someone who might be in the affected area, try to reach them. Tell them to leave. I'm going to keep this line open all night. I'm not going anywhere. Someone needs to keep you informed, and right now, that's me. Let me check for any official statements. The governor's office, nothing yet. FEMA, nothing. CDC, nothing. It's the middle of the night. The bureaucracy is asleep. By the time they wake up and start issuing statements, this could be much worse. I'm seeing reports now that the vapor has expanded beyond the initial impact site. It's moving with the wind. Northeast, according to earlier reports. That means it's heading toward the Riverside neighborhood. Residential areas, thousands of people. 12:57 a.m. A new video just posted. This one is different. It's from inside a car on the highway. The person is trapped in traffic. Through the windshield, you can see the green haze getting closer. Other people are running past the car, away from the vapor. The driver is panicking. They're asking what they should do. Should they get out and run? Should they stay in the car? I don't know the right answer. If the vapor is truly harmful, then the car's ventilation system might not protect them. But running on foot means moving through an area where others have already collapsed. There's no good option. The video cuts off. I don't know what happened to that person. 12:59 a.m. 1 hour until 1. This night has taken a turn I never could have predicted. I've been doing this job for 15 years. I've reported on accidents, fires, floods, all kinds of emergencies. But I've never seen anything like this. An object falls from the sky and releases a gas that incapacitates people within minutes. It sounds like science fiction. It sounds like a movie, but it's happening right now, less than 10 miles from where I'm sitting. More scanner traffic. Dispatch, this is Hazmat Unit 1. We are approaching the secondary perimeter. What's our status on air quality? We don't have readings yet. Sensors are still being set up. Copy. We're going in with full containment suits. We'll report back. The hazmat team is moving in. Finally, maybe they can figure out what this stuff is. 1:03 a.m. I just got off the phone with someone at the County Emergency Management Office. They couldn't tell me much, but they did confirm that a shelter-in-place advisory is being issued for the Riverside neighborhood and surrounding areas. If you live in that part of the city, you need to stay inside. Close all windows and doors. Turn off any HVAC systems that draw air from outside. Do not go out for any reason until you receive an all clear. This is real. This is happening. I'm going to take a moment here to address something. I can hear the fear in my own voice. I'm trying to stay calm, trying to be professional, but I'm scared. I think anyone would be. The unknown is frightening. And right now there's a lot we don't know. But here's what I believe. We will get through this. Humans are resilient. We've survived plagues, wars, natural disasters. We've faced the unknown before, and we've come out the other side. Whatever this is, we will figure it out. We will adapt. We will overcome. That's not just optimism. That's history. More 9 a.m. New information from the hazmat team. They've reached the edge of the vapor cloud. Initial readings indicate an unknown chemical compound not matching anything in their database. They're collecting samples for analysis. Unknown compound. Not matching anything in their database. That's significant. Hazmat teams are trained to deal with a wide range of toxic substances. Industrial chemicals, biological agents, you name it. For them to encounter something completely unfamiliar that suggests this vapor is truly exotic, something we've never seen before, from space maybe, carried here on that meteorite. I'm speculating. I shouldn't speculate, but it's hard not to when the facts are so strange. 1:14 a.m., reports are coming in from the Riverside neighborhood now. People are seeing the green haze in the streets. It's low to the ground, moving slowly, almost like a living thing. One person describes it as creeping. Another says it reminds them of dry ice fog, but thicker, more opaque. Some residents are ignoring the shelter-in-place advisory. They're getting in their cars and trying to leave. I understand the impulse. When danger approaches, flight is a natural response, but if everyone tries to leave at once, the roads will be clogged. People will be trapped outside, exposed. It might be safer to stay inside and wait. I don't know, I'm not an expert, I'm just a guy with a microphone trying to make sense of chaos. 1:18 a.m. The hazmat team has made contact with some of the collapsed civilians. I'm listening to the scanner now. Dispatch, we have eyes on approximately 12 individuals down near the impact site. Signs of life unclear from this distance. We are approaching with caution. Copy. Medical teams are standing by at the secondary perimeter. First victim reached. Adult male, approximately 40s. He's moving. Say again. He's moving. He's getting up. That's good news then. They're recovering. No, wait. Something's wrong. His movements they're not right. He's jerking, twitching, like he's having a seizure but standing up. Requesting clarification. Is the victim ambulatory? Yes, he's walking, but it's not normal. It's like he doesn't know how to use his own legs. And his face, oh God, his face. What about his face? His eyes. I don't know how to describe it. They're wrong. And he's making this sound, this groaning. Unit 3, please confirm, is the victim hostile? He's coming toward me. He's moving faster now. Unit 3, respond. He's attacking. The transmission cut off. My hands are shaking. I'm going to be honest with you. My hands are shaking, and I don't know what I just heard. 1:22 a.m. I'm trying to raise Unit 3 on the scanner. Nothing. Dead air. Other units are responding now. There's chaos on the channel. Multiple voices talking over each other. I'm trying to piece it together. It sounds like the people who collapsed in the vapor, they're getting back up, but they're not themselves. They're attacking the responders. Multiple injuries reported. Calls for backup. This can't be real. This has to be some kind of mass hallucination or hysteria. People don't just become violent after exposure to a gas. That's not how toxicology works. But I'm hearing it. I'm hearing trained first responders, people who've seen everything, panicking, screaming. 1:24 a.m. A new voice on the scanner. Someone with authority. All units, fall back to checkpoint Alpha. Do not engage with affected individuals. Repeat, do not engage. Fall back immediately and await further instructions. They're running. Everyone is running. 1:27 a.m. I need to tell you what I think is happening. I don't want to cause panic. I don't want to spread misinformation, but I also have a responsibility to be honest with you. Just based on what I'm hearing, the people exposed to that vapor are not recovering normally. They're exhibiting aggressive, erratic behavior. They're attacking others. The descriptions match something out of a horror movie, but I can't pretend that's not what I'm hearing. I don't know the science behind it. I don't know if it's a pathogen, a toxin, some kind of neurological agent. I don't know if it's permanent or temporary. I don't know anything except what I'm hearing on this scanner. And what I'm hearing is very, very bad. 1:30 a.m., the vapor has reached the first residential streets of Riverside. I'm seeing social media posts from people inside their homes. They're watching the green fog roll past their windows. Some are filming it, some are praying. One person posts that their neighbor just walked outside to see what was happening. The person recording watched through their window as the neighbor entered the fog. They lost sight of them. Minutes later, the neighbor emerged, but they were stumbling, their movements wrong. The person recording stopped filming. I don't know what happened next. 1:33 a.m. Police are establishing a larger perimeter, but they're struggling. There aren't enough units. The affected individuals, I'm going to call them that because I don't know what else to call them, are spreading beyond the initial zone. They're moving into residential areas. They're attacking anyone they encounter. I'm hearing reports of gunfire now, officers discharging weapons. It's not stopping the affected individuals. Multiple shots and they keep coming. This is beyond anything I've ever experienced, beyond anything anyone has experienced. 1:36 a.m. I'm going to try something. I'm going to call the CDC emergency line. Someone there must know something. Someone must be able to explain what's happening. The phone is ringing. An automated message. They're experiencing high call volume. Please hold for the next available representative. High call volume at 1:30 in the morning. That tells me this isn't isolated. Other people are calling. Other places might be affected. I'll stay on hold. What else can I do? 1:39 a.m. While I wait, let me share what I'm seeing online. The hashtag I-74 meteor is trending. Thousands of posts, videos, photos, first-hand accounts. Many of them are terrifying. A video from someone in Riverside shows a group of affected individuals surrounding a car. The people inside are screaming. The affected ones are pounding on the windows. Their faces blank except for an apparent hunger. The glass is cracking. The video ends. Another post is a text message screenshot. Someone telling their family they love them, saying they don't think they're going to make it, asking them to remember them. People are dying. Right now, as I speak into this microphone, people are dying. 1:42 a.m. I'm still on hold with the CDC. The automated message is repeated 12 times. The scanner is almost impossible to follow now. Too many voices, too much panic. I catch fragments. Officer down, civilians fleeing. Request for military support. That last one chills me. Military support. We're less than 2 hours from when this started. And they're already talking about bringing in the military. 1:45 a.m. Someone just burst into the studio. I nearly jumped out of my chair. It's Marcus, our overnight technician. He looks terrified. He's telling me to look at the news feeds. Every major network has broken into programming. This isn't just local anymore. It's national news. International. He's saying there are reports of similar incidents in other locations. Not just here, other meteorites, other impacts, other vapor clouds, multiple sites across the country, maybe across the world. My God. 1:48 a.m. I hung up on the CDC. There's no point waiting. Whatever information they have, it's not going to help us right now. We need to help ourselves. I'm going to be very clear about what I'm about to say. If you are somewhere safe, stay there. Lock your doors. Don't open them for anyone. Don't go outside. Don't try to drive anywhere. The roads are chaos. The affected individuals, whatever is happening to them, they will attack you. If you are not somewhere safe, find shelter immediately. A sturdy building. An interior room with no windows if possible. Barricade the door. Stay quiet. Wait for help. Help is coming. It has to be. 1:52 a.m. Marcus is setting up a television in the booth so I can watch the news while I broadcast. Smart thinking. I need to see what's happening. The first image that comes up is aerial footage. It's our city. Recognizable landmarks, but transformed. Streets that should be empty at this hour are full of people running. Cars abandoned in intersections. And the green haze, visible even from the helicopter's altitude, spreading through neighborhoods like a slow-motion flood. The anchor is speaking. Her voice is steady but strained. She's explaining that what we initially believed to be a single meteorite impact has been revealed to be multiple coordinated strikes. The word coordinated hangs in the air. Coordinated implies intent, implies planning, implies this was not an accident. Who plans a meteor strike? How do you plan a meteor strike? Unless they weren't really meteors. 1:56 a.m. The news is showing a map now. Red dots marking confirmed impact sites. There are at least 20 across the continental United States. More internationally. Europe, Asia, South America, everywhere. This is not a local emergency. This is a global event. 1:58 a.m. I'm trying to process the scale of what I'm seeing. Multiple impact sites, each releasing vapor, each creating more affected individuals. If the pattern holds, if everyone exposed becomes aggressive like the reports suggest, then the numbers will grow exponentially. First responders exposed become attackers. Victims become attackers. Bystanders become attackers. The math is terrifying. 2 a.m. The news anchor is receiving information in real time. She's reporting that the National Guard has been mobilized in several states. Governors are declaring states of emergency. The president is being briefed. The president. This has reached the highest levels of government, and it's been barely more than 2 hours since that first flash in the sky. 2:03 a.m. I need to talk about something difficult. The word that keeps coming to my mind, the word that I've been avoiding because it sounds crazy, because it sounds like fiction, because it sounds like something that could never happen in real life. Zombies. I know how it sounds, but what else do you call people who collapse, seem to die, and then rise again with no apparent consciousness, driven only by an urge to attack the living? That's the definition. That's the archetype. That's what we've imagined in countless movies and books and games. And now it appears to be happening. I don't know the mechanism. I don't know if they're truly dead and reanimated, or if they're alive but their higher brain functions have been destroyed, leaving only aggression and instinct. I don't know if it's reversible. I don't know anything. But I know what I see. And what I see looks like zombies. 2:08 a.m. Marcus tells me the station has received multiple calls from listeners asking what to do. People are scared. They want guidance. They want someone to tell them everything will be okay. I wish I could. I wish I had the authority to make promises. But all I can do is share what I know and try to help however I can. So, here's what I'll say. Survival is possible. In every disaster, every catastrophe, there are survivors. People who make smart choices, who stay calm, who help each other. Be one of those people. Stockpile water. You can survive weeks without food, but only days without water. Fill every container you have. Bathtubs, pots, bottles, anything. Secure your shelter, lock doors, block windows, create barriers. If the affected individuals can't get in, they can't hurt you. Stay quiet. From what I'm hearing, they seem to be attracted to noise. Don't draw attention to yourself. Don't go out unless absolutely necessary. Every time you leave shelter, you risk exposure to the vapor or encounter with the affected. If you have weapons, keep them accessible. I never thought I'd say that on air, but I also never thought I'd be broadcasting during what appears to be the actual apocalypse. 2:13 a.m. New reports from the impact site nearest us. The military has arrived. I'm seeing footage of soldiers in full hazmat gear establishing a perimeter. They're setting up lights, equipment, trying to contain the situation. But the vapor has already spread too far. There are affected individuals throughout the riverside area now. Probably hundreds, maybe thousands. You can't contain something that's already escaped. 2:16 a.m. A scientist is speaking on the news now, an astrobiologist from a university I recognize. She looks like she hasn't slept in days, even though this only started a few hours ago. The shock on her face mirrors what I feel. She's saying preliminary analysis of the vapor suggests it contains organic compounds not found on Earth. The molecules are complex, perhaps biological in origin. She hesitates before saying the next part. This may be evidence of extraterrestrial life. Extraterrestrial. Aliens. I'm supposed to be surprised, but somehow I'm not. The pieces were already fitting together. Objects falling from space releasing a gas that transforms people into mindless aggressors. It never made sense as a natural phenomenon. But as an attack, as an invasion, it makes a terrible kind of sense. 2:20 a.m. I want to speak directly to anyone who's still listening. I don't know how many of you there are. Could be thousands. Could be dozens. Could be just one person huddled in a basement somewhere, listening for any sign that they're not alone. You're not alone. I'm here. I'll stay here as long as I can. As long as the power holds and the transmitter works and the affected don't break down that door. We're in this together. All of us, everyone who's still thinking, still feeling, still human. We're a community now, a community of survivors. And we will survive. I have to believe that. The alternative is unthinkable. 2:24 a.m. The news is showing footage from other cities now. New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. The story is the same everywhere. Impact sites, green vapor affected individuals. Some cities are worse than others depending on where the objects fell. Urban areas are hit hardest. Dense populations providing more victims, more attackers. Rural areas might be safer. If you have the means to get to a remote location, it might be worth considering. But the roads are dangerous. Traveling carries its own risks. There's no perfect answer, there's only choices, each with its own dangers. 2:28 a.m. Marcus just handed me a note. He's been monitoring our phone lines. Someone called claiming to be a doctor at St. Catherine's. They said the hospital is being evacuated. The affected have breached the building. Staff and patients are fleeing or fighting for their lives. The hospital, where the injured and vulnerable are supposed to be safe, where people go for healing, now it's a death trap. This is beyond nightmare. This is beyond anything I could have imagined. 2:31 a.m. I'm watching the screen as a reporter on the ground describes what she's seeing. She's somewhere downtown, a few miles from here. Behind her, buildings are dark, except for emergency lights. The streets are empty of moving cars, but full of abandoned ones. And shambling through the frame, barely visible in the shadows, are figures. Human in shape, but not in behavior. The reporter's voice catches. She's scared. We all are. She describes the affected as relentless. They don't seem to tire, they don't seem to feel pain. Gunshots slow them, but don't stop them unless they hit the head. That's what the police are saying. Aim for the head. Just like the movies. God help us, it's just like the movies. 2:35 a.m. I need to take a moment, just a moment to breathe. I've been talking for hours. My throat is dry. My eyes are burning. The weight of what's happening is pressing down on me like a physical force. But I can't stop. People are counting on this broadcast, on any information, any connection, any voice in the darkness. So I'll keep going. For you, for all of us. 2:38 a.m. Let me tell you what I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking about my sister. She lives on the other side of town near the university. I don't know if she's safe. I've tried calling, but the phone lines are overwhelmed. All I get is busy signals and network errors. I'm thinking about my friends, my neighbors, the guy who makes my coffee every morning at the shop on the corner. I don't know if any of them are okay. I'm thinking about 7 billion people around the world, each with their own lives, their own loved ones, their own fears, all of us facing the same impossible crisis. And I'm thinking about how small our problems used to be. Yesterday I was annoyed about traffic and parking and politics. Today those things seem laughable, petty, meaningless. Perspective is a hell of a thing. 2:42 a.m. News update. The president is expected to address the nation within the hour. Emergency protocols are being activated at the federal level. All domestic flights have been grounded. The National Guard has been federalized. Martial law is being considered in the hardest hit areas. Martial law. Soldiers in the streets. Curfews and checkpoints. A month ago that would have seemed like dystopian fiction. Tonight, it might be our only hope. 2:45 a.m. Marcus is pointing at the window. Our station is on the 3rd floor of a building downtown. Through the glass, we can see the street below. It's been empty for the past hour. But now there's movement. People running a dozen, maybe more. They're sprinting down the street, looking over their shoulders. Behind them, slower but steady, are the affected, maybe 20 of them. Moving with that jerky, uncoordinated gait, pursuing the living with single-minded purpose. The runners disappear around a corner. The affected follow. That's a few hundred yards from where I'm sitting. The danger is close. Closer than I realized. 2:49 a.m. I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to tell you my personal emergency plan live on air. Marcus and I have discussed it. If the building is breached, we retreat to the equipment room at the end of the hall. It has a heavy door and no windows. We've moved some supplies there already. Water, energy bars, a first aid kit. Not much, but some. If we can't reach the equipment room, we go to the roof. There's access through the stairwell. From there, we might be able to signal for rescue, or at least avoid being trapped. And if all else fails, Well, I try not to think about that. 2:52 a.m. The president's address has been pushed back. No explanation given. That's not nowhere. Meanwhile, the news is showing footage from overseas. London, Paris, Tokyo, Sydney. The same story everywhere. Objects from the sky, green vapor affected individuals. Some countries are handling it better than others, depending on population density, government response, pure luck. Australia and New Zealand seem to be faring well so far, possibly due to isolation and lower population density. Japan is struggling. Tokyo is particularly hard hit. Europe is a patchwork. Some cities fallen, others holding on. It's global. It's everywhere. There's nowhere to run. 2:56 a.m. I'm reading messages from listeners. Some are posting in online forums. Some are calling the station. I can't take live calls anymore. The system is overwhelmed, but I can read what people are saying. Sarah from Oak Street says she's barricaded in her apartment with her 2 kids. They can hear the affected in the hallway, pounding on doors, groaning. She's scared but staying quiet. She wants to know if rescue is coming. I don't know, Sarah. I wish I did. All I can say is keep quiet, keep hidden, keep hoping. Michael from downtown says he's on a rooftop with a group of strangers. They climbed up when the street became too dangerous. They're watching the city burn below them, literally burn. Fires have started somewhere to the east, no one to put them out. Stay safe, Michael, stay together. Anonymous posts that they were bitten. Not badly, just a scratch on the arm. They want to know if they'll become one of them. I don't have an answer. The information is still too scattered, too incomplete. Some reports suggest any contact with the affected or the vapor is sufficient for transformation. Others say it requires significant exposure. We don't know yet. If you've been exposed, all I can say is watch for symptoms. If you start feeling wrong, if your thoughts become clouded, if you feel urges you can't explain, isolate yourself. Don't put others at risk. I'm sorry. I wish I had better advice. 3 a.m. Friday morning. Although the concept of days and schedules seems almost absurd now, the night is half over, but the crisis is just beginning. In a few hours, the sun will rise. I don't know if that will make things better or worse. Daylight might help survivors see threats coming, but it might also mean the affected can see us more easily. The movies always showed zombies as slow, stupid, easily outmaneuvered in daylight. I hope that's accurate. I hope reality follows the rules of fiction, but I suspect it won't. 3:04 a.m. The news anchor has been replaced. A different face now, a man I don't recognize. He looks fresher, more composed. They must be rotating staff, trying to keep everyone functional. He's summarizing the situation. 27 confirmed impact sites in the United States. Estimated affected population unknown, but potentially in the millions. Federal government has declared a national emergency. States of emergency in all 50 states. Military deployed to major cities. He's also reporting that scientists are working around the clock to analyze the vapor and understand the transformation process. Early findings suggest it's some kind of pathogen, possibly viral, that attacks the central nervous system. It destroys higher brain functions while leaving basic motor control and aggression intact. Not truly dead then, just diminished, reduced to their most primal state. I don't know if that's better or worse. 3:09 a.m. Power just flickered. The lights dipped for a second, then came back. Marcus is checking the building's generator. We run on city power, primarily with generator backup. If the grid goes down, we can keep broadcasting for a while, but not indefinitely. Fuel is limited. Another thing to worry about, the list keeps growing. 3:12 a.m. The governor is speaking now, a live address from the state capitol. She looks exhausted, her face pale under the harsh lights, but her voice is steady. She's confirming what we already know. State of emergency, National Guard deployed, shelter-in-place orders for the entire metropolitan area and surrounding counties. She's urging calm, cooperation, trust in the authorities, but she's also being honest. The situation is dire, resources are stretched thin. Help is coming, but it may take time. Time. That's what we don't have. Every minute that passes, more people are exposed. More victims join the ranks of the affected. The problem grows exponentially. 3:16 a.m. I want to share something with you, a memory. When I was a kid, my grandfather used to tell me stories about World War II. He was a young man then, barely 18 when Pearl Harbor was attacked. He enlisted the next day, served in the Pacific Theater, saw things he never fully talked about. One story he did tell was about fear. He said the first time he came under fire, he was so scared he couldn't move. His body just froze. He was certain he was going to die. But then something shifted. He realized that fear wouldn't save him. Action might. So he started moving, started fighting, started surviving, one moment at a time. He told me that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite the fear, doing what needs to be done even when every instinct screams at you to run and hide. I think about that story a lot tonight. I'm scared, I won't pretend otherwise, but I'm still here, still talking, still trying to help. That's something, that's courage. I hope. 3:20 a.m. Marcus has returned. The generator is fine, he says. The power flicker was from the grid, probably somewhere losing power and causing a cascade. He also says he saw something outside the building, a figure standing in the alley behind the station. Not moving, just standing there. In the dim light, he couldn't tell if it was a survivor or one of the affected. We're locking down the building as best we can. Main entrance is already secured. Marcus is checking the back doors now. I hope whoever's in that alley is human. I hope they find safety. 3:24 a.m. Let me give you a tactical update based on what I've pieced together from various sources. The affected seem to operate primarily on sound and possibly smell. Vision appears limited or less prioritized. Survivors who stay quiet and out of sight have better chances of avoiding detection. They don't use tools or weapons, just their hands and teeth, but they have numbers and relentlessness on their side. A single affected individual is manageable. A group is deadly. Head trauma appears to be the most effective method of neutralization. Police and military are advising aim for the head, consistent with fictional depictions. I don't know why this works. Maybe the pathogen or whatever it is resides primarily in the brain, and destroying that destroys the control mechanism. Fire is also effective but dangerous. The affected don't seem to feel pain and will continue advancing even while burning. They can spread the fire to survivors and structures. Barricades help. They're not coordinated enough to break through serious obstacles, a locked door, a heavy piece of furniture. These things can make the difference. 3:29 a.m. The president's address is starting now. I'm going to listen and relay what I hear. He's at the podium in the Oval Office. American flags behind him. He looks grave, the weight of the moment visible in his posture. He's confirming the global nature of the crisis. Multiple objects of apparently extraterrestrial origin have impacted sites across the world. The vapor they release contains a pathogen that causes severe neurological changes in exposed humans. The affected individuals are hostile and should be avoided. He's declaring martial law in areas with significant affected populations. The military is being deployed to establish safe zones, evacuate survivors, and contain the threat. He's urging citizens to remain calm, follow official instructions, and cooperate with authorities. He's also acknowledging the scale of the challenge. This is, he says, the greatest test our nation and our species has ever faced. But he expresses confidence that we will overcome, that the human spirit is resilient, that we will find a way. It's a good speech, measured, reassuring, presidential. But I don't know if words can match the reality of what's happening outside, the fires, the screams, the shambling figures in the darkness. 3:34 a.m. The address is over. The news is returning to coverage, showing images from around the world. Sydney is in flames. The harbor, usually so beautiful, is choked with smoke. The Opera House is dark. London has set up defenses around Buckingham Palace. Soldiers line the gates. The affected press against the barriers, hundreds of them. Tokyo is showing organized evacuation efforts. Trains filled with survivors heading away from the city. The Japanese seem to be handling this with characteristic efficiency. But even they can't hold back the tide forever. 3:38 a.m. I'm going to take a risk and step away from the booth for a moment, just to stretch, to look out the window, to remind myself that the world outside still exists. Marcus will keep the broadcast going with music if needed, but hopefully I'll only be gone a minute. Okay, I'm at the window now, 3rd floor, looking down at the street. It's quiet, empty. The runners from earlier are gone, either escaped or caught. The streetlights are still on, casting pools of yellow light on the pavement. Abandoned cars sit at odd angles, doors open, signs of hasty exits. No movement, nothing living that I can see. But shadows, lots of shadows. Any one of them could hate danger. The sky is dark, no stars visible through the haze and the ambient city glow, but I can see a faint green tinge to the east. The vapor cloud still spreading, still claiming territory. It's surreal. This was my city, my home. I've walked these streets 1,000 times and now they're alien, hostile, transformed into something from a nightmare. I'm going back to the booth now. 3:43 a.m. I'm back. Thank you for staying with me. While I was away, Marcus received a communication from the emergency broadcast system. They're taking over some channels for official government messaging. We're being asked to relay certain information to our listeners. Here's what they want you to know. Official shelters are being established at the following locations in our area: Washington High School, the Civic Center, and the Riverside Community Church. These locations have military presence and are accepting survivors. If you can safely travel to a shelter, do so during daylight hours only. Travel in groups if possible. Avoid main roads, which may be clogged with abandoned vehicles or affected individuals. Bring water, food, medications, and identification. If you cannot safely travel, continue to shelter in place. Help is being organized and will reach you as soon as possible. That's the official message. I hope it helped. 3:47 a.m. My personal advice: be very careful about traveling to shelters. Yes, they're probably safer than staying alone, but the journey is dangerous, and shelters can become targets, concentrations of living humans attracting large numbers of affected. Use your judgment. Consider your specific situation. If you're in a secure location with supplies, staying put might be the better choice. If you're exposed or running low on resources, the shelter might be worth the risk. There's no universal right answer, only individual choices in individual circumstances. 3:51 a.m. I'm getting reports of conflict between survivors. Not just affected versus living, but lived versus living, fights over supplies, over shelter space, over resources. People stealing from each other, attacking each other, abandoning each other. It saddens me, but doesn't surprise me. Fear brings out the worst in some people. The veneer of civilization is thin and it cracks under pressure. But I've also heard stories of heroism. Strangers helping strangers, people risking their lives to save others, communities coming together to defend themselves. Both things are true. Humans are capable of great evil and great good. In times like these, both emerge. Choose good, please. We need more of it. 3:55 a.m. Power flickered again, longer this time. The lights were out for almost 10 seconds before the generator kicked in. The grid is failing. Too much damage. Not enough maintenance crews. Infrastructure under siege from the chaos. We're running on backup now. How long will the generator last? Marcus estimates about 16 hours of continuous operation. After that, we'll need fuel, and getting fuel means going outside. One problem at a time. For now, we're operational. 4 a.m. I've been on the air for over 4 hours now, longer than my usual shift by far. Exhaustion is setting in, but I can't stop. Not yet. The sun rises in about 2.5 hours. I want to make it that far at least. See what daylight brings. See if things look different when we can actually see them. 4:04 a.m. More information from the scientific community. A virologist speaking on CNN says the pathogen in the vapor is unlike anything on Earth. It's not a virus in the traditional sense, not a bacteria, not a prion. It's something new, something that doesn't fit existing categories. The best hypothesis so far is that it's an engineered bioweapon of extraterrestrial origin, designed to target human neural tissue, designed to convert us into something else. Designed. That word keeps coming up, implying intelligence behind this, implying purpose. Who would do this? Why? What do they want? I don't have answers. I don't think anyone does yet. 4:09 a.m. Let me tell you about my day before this all started. It was a normal day, completely unremarkable. I woke up around noon because I work nights, had coffee, checked my email, did some grocery shopping, had lunch at a little Thai place I like. Nothing special. Came to the station around 9 p.m. Did some prep work, reviewed the rundown for the show, talked to the evening guy about nothing in particular. Started the broadcast at 11, talked about parking regulations, took some calls, mentioned a meteor shower. And then the world ended. How many people had normal days before the objects fell? How many were eating dinner, watching TV, putting kids to bed, living their regular lives without any idea that everything was about to change? We don't get warnings. Not for the things that really matter. The universe doesn't announce itself. It just happens, and we adapt or we don't. 4:14 a.m. Marcus says he heard something in the stairwell. Footsteps, maybe, or his imagination. We're both on edge. The door to the stairwell is locked. We've reinforced it with a filing cabinet. It should hold against casual investigation. But if there are affected in the building, we may not have as much time as we thought. Stay calm. Stay focused. Don't let fear make you stupid. 4:18 a.m. The footsteps have stopped if they were ever there. Marcus has returned to his station, monitoring systems, watching for problems. I should tell you about Marcus. He's 26, relatively new to the station. Got hired about a year ago as a technician. Quiet guy, keeps to himself mostly, but good at his job and steady in a crisis. I'm glad he's here. I don't think I could do this alone. Not just the practical stuff, the equipment, the systems, but the human presence, someone else who knows what's happening, shares the fear, shares the hope, someone to talk to besides a microphone. We're social creatures. We need each other, especially now. 4:22 a.m. I'm watching footage from a news helicopter over Los Angeles. The fires are worse there, whole neighborhoods burning, the flames visible from altitude. The affected wander through the smoke seemingly unaffected by the heat, drawn toward any sign of human activity. Downtown LA is described as a war zone. Police and National Guard are fighting running battles with massive groups of affected. The reporter says they've never seen anything like it. Neither have I. But LA is fighting. People are fighting. That's something. 4:26 a.m. A theological perspective now. A bishop was just interviewed speaking from some undisclosed location. She called this a test of faith, a challenge from God or perhaps from something else. She urged people to pray, to find strength in their beliefs, to remember that darkness has never fully overcome light. I'm not particularly religious myself, but I respect those who are. If faith helps you through this, if it gives you hope and strength, then hold on to it. Whatever gets you to tomorrow is valid. 4:30 a.m. 4:30 in the morning. The longest night of my life, and it's not over yet. I've been thinking about what happens next. Assuming we survive this, assuming humanity survives, what does the world look like afterward? The infrastructure is being destroyed. Power grids, communication networks, transportation systems. Even if we stop the affected somehow, rebuilding will take years, decades, maybe. And the psychological damage, the trauma, an entire species facing its mortality, watching loved ones transformed into monsters, that leaves scars that don't heal. But we'll rebuild. We always do. After the Black Death, Europe rebuilt. After the World Wars, world rebuilt. After every disaster, every catastrophe, survivors pick up the pieces and create something new. We're stubborn that way. Persistent. Annoyingly resilient. 4:35 a.m. More scanner traffic from local emergency services. They're attempting to establish a secure perimeter around the downtown core. Limited success. The affected keep finding ways through, attracted by the concentration of survivors. They're also discussing supply runs. Food, water, medical supplies are running low at some shelters already. Teams are being organized to retrieve them from stores and warehouses. Dangerous work. Essential work. 4:39 a.m. I want to acknowledge something. I've been talking about this situation as if I understand it, as if I have some authority or expertise. I don't. I'm just a guy on the radio, making sense of chaos as best I can. I might be wrong about things. I might give advice that doesn't work. I might speculate incorrectly about what's happening or why. All I can promise is honesty. I'm telling you what I know, what I think, what I feel. The rest is up to you. 4:43 a.m. A scientist on TV, different from the ones before, is presenting a theory. He thinks the pathogen is designed to transform hosts into a kind of biological weapon. The affected aren't zombies in the supernatural sense. They're controlled organisms, puppets of some larger intelligence. He points to their behavior. They don't eat the victims like classic zombies would. They just attack, spreading the pathogen, making more of themselves. That's not hunger, that's reproduction. That's invasion strategy. If he's right, and I stress if, then somewhere out there something is directing this. Something intelligent, something that sent those objects to Earth with a plan. That's terrifying on a level I can barely comprehend. 4:48 a.m. Let me give you some practical information while I can. Water is crucial. The tap water is probably still safe in most areas. The contamination seems to be airborne, not waterborne. But that could change as infrastructure fails. Fill containers now while you can. If in doubt, boil water before drinking. Food. Non-perishables are your friends. Canned goods, dried goods, anything that doesn't need refrigeration. Refrigerators will become useless as power fails. Medicine. If you take regular medications, try to get as much supply as possible. Pharmacies are probably chaos right now, but if you have a chance, stock up. Light, flashlights, candles, anything that doesn't require electricity. Darkness is dangerous. Weapons, controversial, I know, but if you have access to weapons and know how to use them safely, they could save your life. Communication, radios are more reliable than phones right now. Cell networks are overloaded or failing. If you have a battery-powered or hand-crank radio, keep it with you. Stations like this one are your connection to information. 4:53 a.m. Marcus just made coffee. Real coffee. From the break room. The smell is almost absurdly normal, comforting in a way I didn't expect. Small pleasures. Hold on to them. They remind you what you're fighting for. 4:57 a.m. The news is reporting that some areas have been successfully evacuated, suburbs mostly places with lower population density and better road access. People are being moved to military bases, rural areas, anywhere that can be defended. If you're in one of those areas, if you've made it to safety, I'm happy for you. Truly. Stay safe. Help others if you can. For those of us still in the hot zones, the fight continues. 5 a.m. 1 hour until sunrise. The sky outside is still dark, but I swear I can see the faintest hint of gray on the eastern horizon, or maybe that's wishful thinking. The affected have been active throughout the night. They don't seem to sleep, don't seem to rest. Whatever drives them, it's relentless. I hope that changes in daylight. I hope they slow down, become easier to avoid. But I'm prepared for the opposite. 5:04 a.m. I'm reading through more listener messages. These are people reaching out in the darkness, hoping someone will hear. Elena says she's hiding in a closet. She can hear them in her apartment. Her boyfriend didn't make it. She's trying not to cry because the noise might attract them. Elena, if you're still listening, stay strong. Stay quiet. They'll move on eventually if they don't hear you. James says he's in a hospital, one of the ones that hasn't fallen yet. He's a nurse. He's been working all night treating the wounded, trying to save lives. He says it's chaos, but they're managing. James, you're a hero. Everyone in that hospital is a hero. Keep fighting. Anonymous says they've accepted that they're going to die. They've made peace with it. They just want someone to know they existed. I know you exist. I hear you, and maybe, just maybe, you'll survive. Don't give up yet. 5:09 a.m. The president is speaking again, a brief update. He's reporting that military scientists have made progress understanding the pathogen. They believe it may be susceptible to certain electromagnetic frequencies. Tests are being conducted. Electromagnetic frequencies. If they can find a way to disrupt the pathogen remotely, that changes everything. Suddenly, there's a weapon that could work at scale, but these things take time. Testing, verification, deployment. How long before it's ready? How many more will fall in the meantime? 5:13 a.m., Marcus is checking the windows again. He says the figure in the alley is gone, either mowed on or was never there. I don't know which possibility is more unsettling. 5:17 a.m. I want to talk about something that's been on my mind. The nature of consciousness. There's people who've been transformed. The affected, are they still in there somewhere? Is there a part of them deep inside that remembers who they were? That's screaming, trapped, watching as their body does things they can't control? Or are they simply gone, replaced entirely by something else, the original person erased? I don't know. Scientists don't know. Maybe we'll never know. But it matters. doesn't it? If they're still in there, then every time we neutralize one of them, we're killing a person, a prisoner, a victim. And if they're not, if they're truly empty, then they're already dead, and we're just stopping the shell. I hope it's the second one. For their sake and ours. 5:21 a.m. Reports of fighting at the Civic Center shelter. Not affected versus survivors, but survivors versus survivors. The group tried to take control of the food supplies. Security intervened. Several people were injured before order was restored. This is what I was afraid of. The breakdown of social norms. The reversion to might makes right. We can't let that happen. We can't become monsters while fighting monsters. 5:25 a.m. The horizon is definitely lighter now, not sunrise yet, but pre-dawn, that hazy gray light that promises morning. I never appreciated dawn before. It was just something that happened, a boundary between night and day. But today, right now, it feels like hope, like a promise that the world keeps turning, that darkness doesn't last forever. Come on, son, we need you. 5:29 a.m. More military activity visible on the news. Convoys moving through cities, soldiers in full combat gear. They're establishing strongholds, defensible positions from which to operate. The strategy seems to be containment. Hold certain areas. Rescue who you can. Wait for a breakthrough in understanding or fighting the pathogen. It's not glamorous, it's not quick, but it's rational. Slow and steady, that's how you survive a marathon, and this is going to be a marathon. 5:33 a.m. I'm thinking about my apartment. It's across town in an area that was hit early. I don't know if it's still standing, if my things are still there. Funny how attachment works. A few hours ago, I would have been devastated to lose my possessions. My books, my music collection, the photo of my parents on the nightstand. Now they seem so trivial, just stuff, replaceable or not important. What matters is people, the living, the survivors. I hope I get to remember that. When this is over, I hope I don't go back to caring about stuff. 5:37 a.m. The news is showing a map of outbreak severity, color-coded like a weather radar. Red for active affected activity, orange for high risk, yellow for moderate, green for relatively safe. Most of the map is red and orange. The green areas are remote, rural, far from impact sites, lucky pockets of normalcy and a sea of chaos. Our city is solidly red, no surprise there. 5:41 a.m. I've been broadcasting for nearly 6 hours straight, the longest shift of my life. My voice is ragged, my mind is fuzzy, but I'm still here. Marcus brought me more coffee and a protein bar. I didn't realize how hungry I was until I started eating. Take care of your bodies, everyone. Hunger and exhaustion make everything harder. Eat when you can. Sleep when it's safe. Your survival depends on staying functional. 5:45 a.m. A moment of silence from the scanner. No transmissions for over a minute. Either things are calm out there or the responders have stopped responding. I choose to believe it's the former, momentary peace. 5:49 a.m. The sky is brightening. Orange and pink on the eastern horizon. The sun is close. I'm watching the window, waiting. It's the most beautiful sunrise I've ever seen, and I'm viewing it through smudged glass in a radio station booth during the apocalypse. Life is strange. 5:53 a.m. Here it comes. The first sliver of sun peeking over the buildings, golden light spilling into the streets. The shadows recede. The darkness lifts. The world becomes visible. I can see the streets now, clearly. Abandoned cars, debris, and yes, figures, affected ones, standing motionless in the light. They're not moving, they're just standing there as if frozen by the dawn. Is this good? Are they disoriented by daylight? Or are they simply waiting, patient for prey to emerge? I don't know, but at least we can see them now. 6 a.m. Morning. We made it through the night, the first night, because this isn't ending anytime soon. I'm Daniel Rothman on 104.7 FM. This is the emergency broadcast for day one of whatever this is. Stay safe. Stay human. We'll get through this together. 6:04 a.m. Now that there's daylight, I can see more clearly what's happened to the city. The view from our window isn't panoramic, but it shows a slice of downtown, a few blocks of urban landscape. The streets are strewn with debris, overturned garbage cans, scattered papers, broken glass. Some storefronts have had their windows smashed, whether by affected or by looters. Impossible to say. A car is burning at the intersection a block away, not actively flaming anymore, just smoldering, sending a thin column of smoke into the morning air. No one is attending to it. Fire services have bigger problems. And the affected. I count 7 visible from here. They're distributed across the view, standing or wandering slowly. They seem sluggish in the daylight, less directed, but still present, still dangerous. This 6:08 a.m. Marcus has been monitoring police frequencies. He's compiling information, trying to build a picture of the situation. The downtown shelter at the Civic Center is holding but strained. Over 2,000 people packed into a space meant for maybe half that. Supplies are adequate for now, but rationing has begun. The military perimeter around the government district is secure. They've cleared a 5-block radius and are using the Federal Building as a command center. The hospital situation is dire. St. Catherine's and Mercy General have both been compromised. Riverside Medical is the last functioning hospital in the area, and it's overwhelmed. 6:12 a.m. The news is showing survivor testimonials. People who made it through the night are sharing their stories. The woman describes hiding in a dumpster for 3 hours while affected shuffled past. The smell was terrible, she says, but she's alive. A man talks about fighting off an affected with a fire extinguisher. His hands are bandaged. He cut them on broken glass, but he saved his family. A teenager, couldn't be more than 15, explains how she led a group of younger kids through the streets to shelter. She memorized the safe route from her parents' emergency plan. Her parents didn't make it. Heroes everywhere. Ordinary people becoming extraordinary. 6:16 a.m. I need to address something that's been nagging at me. The question of why. We know what is happening. Objects fell from space, released a pathogen, transformed people into aggressive attackers. We know we're starting to understand the how. The pathogen affects neural tissue, destroys higher functions, leaves only instinct and aggression. We understand the mechanism, at least partially, but we don't know why. Why would anything do this? What's the purpose? If it's an invasion, where are the invaders? We've seen no alien ships, no extraterrestrial beings, nothing except the pathogen and its victims. Just the attack, without attackers. Unless the affected are the invasion. Unless this is the strategy, use our own population against us. Transform us into an army that conquers ourselves. It's elegant, in a horrific way. No need to cross interstellar distances with an armada. Just send the weapon ahead and let it do the work. 6:20 a.m. The President's scientific advisors are holding a press conference. I'm listening to it now. They're discussing the pathogen in more detail. It's definitely not terrestrial in origin. The molecular structure is unlike anything in Earth's biology. It's also remarkably complex, far beyond what random evolution would produce. This was engineered, they say, deliberately designed. They're also testing countermeasures. The electromagnetic frequency approach shows promise but isn't ready. They're looking at chemical agents, potential treatments, anything that might disrupt the pathogen's function. No timeline on when something might be available. Days maybe, weeks too long for many. 6:24 a.m. I should mention that not all the impacts were equal. Some released more vapor than others, some fell in populated areas, some in remote regions. There's speculation that the objects targeted high-density locations, deliberately, maximizing initial exposure, maximizing the speed of spread, strategic placement by whatever sent them. If that's true, then the impacts on I-74 and elsewhere weren't random, they were chosen. Our city was selected for destruction. That's a hard thought to sit with. 6:28 a.m. Movement in the street below. A group of survivors, maybe a dozen, moving quickly between buildings. They're using the daylight to relocate, heading toward what I think is the direction of the Civic Center. The affected don't pursue them. They turn their heads, track the movement, but don't give chase. Too slow in daylight, too disoriented by the sun. Whatever the reason, the survivors pass safely. That's promising. If daylight gives us an advantage, we can use it. Relocate, resupply, rescue during the day, hunker down at night, patterns and rhythms. That's how you survive. 6:32 a.m. Marcus is sleeping. I told him to rest while he could. I'll wake him if anything urgent happens. It's just me now, talking to whoever's out there. Me and the hum of equipment and the distant sounds of a city in chaos. I've never felt more alone, even though I know millions are listening. Maybe that's the paradox of radio. Connecting people who never see each other, never touch, never meet. Voices in the void. 6:36 a.m. Let me share some practical observations from what I've seen. The affected don't seem to navigate well. They bump into obstacles, get stuck on barriers, have trouble with stairs. Their motor control is degraded along with their cognition. This means complex environments are safer. Buildings with multiple levels, narrow hallways, tight spaces. The affected will have trouble pursuing you through them. Open areas are dangerous. Wide streets, parking lots, fields. If they spot you there, you have nowhere to hide, and while they're slow, they don't give up. Height is generally good. Rooftops, upper floors. The affected struggle with climbing. Getting above them puts you out of reach. Use these advantages. Plan your movements. Think about the terrain. 6:40 a.m. I'm watching the news coverage from other cities. New York is particularly grim. The density there made containment nearly impossible. Millions affected in the first few hours. But there are pockets of resistance. Times Square, of all places, has been secured by a coalition of police, National Guard, and armed civilians. They're holding off waves of affected, using the bright lights and enclosed spaces to their advantage. The Statue of Liberty is being used as a refugee point. Boats are ferrying survivors to the island, away from the infected mainland. Central Park has become something else entirely. Reports describe it as a hunting ground. Don't go there. 6:44 a.m. A thought occurs to me. We've been so focused on survival that we haven't talked much about communication. Staying in touch. If you have loved ones elsewhere, try to reach them. Phone lines are overloaded, but texts sometimes get through when calls don't. Social media, if the servers are still running. Amateur radio, if you have access. Let people know you're alive. Find out who else made it. Build networks. In the long run, our ability to coordinate, share information, and work together will determine whether we win this. 6:48 a.m. I'm going to take a short break, just 5 minutes. Stretch my legs, use the bathroom, refill my coffee. Marcus is still sleeping. I'll set the broadcast to run a pre-recorded emergency message while I'm away. Standard government stuff, shelter in place, remain calm, help is coming. I'll be back shortly. Stay safe out there. 6:53 a.m. I'm back. Nothing happened while I was away. That's the best kind of nothing. Let me tell you what the view is like from the hallway window, which gives a different angle than the booth. To the north, I can see the highway overpass, completely gridlocked with abandoned vehicles. A few figures move among the cars, affected ones, wandering aimlessly. To the east, there's smoke rising from multiple points, fires that started in the night and burned unchecked. The smoke drifts across the skyline, a gray haze mixing with the morning light. To the south, residential neighborhoods. Hard to see details from here, but I imagine scenes similar to what we've heard about elsewhere. Empty streets, hidden survivors, lurking danger. This was a living city yesterday. Now it's something else. A battlefield, a graveyard. 6:57 a.m. The military has released guidelines for civilian engagement with affected individuals. I'm going to them to you. Do not approach affected individuals under any circumstances. They are hostile and dangerous regardless of their prior relationship to you. If confrontation is unavoidable, aim for the head. This is the most effective means of neutralization. Affected individuals do not respond to verbal commands or emotional appeals. They are not the people they were. If you observe someone showing early signs of exposure, including confusion, aggression, loss of speech, physical deterioration, isolate them immediately and contact authorities if possible. Exposure to the pathogen can occur through the vapor, through bite or scratch wounds from affected individuals, and possibly through other bodily fluid contact. There is currently no known cure or treatment for exposure. Prevention is the only protection. That last line is the hardest. No cure. Once you're exposed, that's it. 7 a.m. We've made it to 7 in the morning. The sun is fully up now, flooding the streets with light. I'm going to try to give you a summary of where things stand. Locally, the downtown area is contested. Military and police hold certain zones, affected roam others. Shelters are established but strained. Essential services are collapsing. The priority is survival and evacuation for those who can reach safe zones. Nationally, similar patterns across all major cities. Some areas are worse than others. The Midwest seems to be faring better than the coasts, probably lower population density and fewer impact sites. The federal government is coordinating response but overwhelmed by the scale. Internationally, reports are fragmentary, but the crisis is global. Every continent has been affected. Some nations are coping better than others. International cooperation is difficult when everyone is fighting their own fires. Scientifically, the pathogen is being studied intensively. Understanding is growing, but countermeasures are not yet available. The bottom line, this is bad. Really bad. But it's not hopeless. People are fighting back. Systems are adapting. We're learning. 7:04 a.m. I want to acknowledge the people we've lost. Not with a moment of silence, because we don't know who exactly, but with recognition. Millions of people around the world have been affected in the last 8 hours. Millions. Each one was a person with a name, a history, loved ones, dreams. Each one mattered. Some were transformed by the vapor, victims of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Others were attacked by affected individuals, caught unprepared. Others died trying to help. First responders and ordinary citizens who put themselves in harm's way. We'll never know all their names. We'll never hear all their stories, but they existed. They mattered. Remember that. Even in the chaos, especially in the chaos, remember that. 7:08 a.m. Marcus is awake. He's apologetic about sleeping so long. I tell him not to be. One of us needed to rest. He's checking systems now, making sure everything is still working. So far, so good. The generator is holding. The transmitter is strong. We're reaching people. That's what matters. 7:12 a.m. A new development. The news is reporting that some affected individuals have begun to behave differently. Instead of wandering randomly, they're congregating, gathering in certain location. The speculation is that they're somehow communicating, coordinating, maybe not consciously, but through some mechanism we don't understand. If they're organizing, that changes the threat assessment significantly. Scattered affected are manageable. Organized hordes are much more dangerous. More information as it becomes available. 7:16 a.m. Let me tell you about a message I just received. It's from a listener named David. He's in a high-rise apartment building about a mile from here. He says his floor has become a kind of community. About 30 survivors have banded together, pooling resources, sharing watch duties. They've blocked the stairwell with furniture. They've rationed their food and water. They've established communication with another group on a different floor. David says they're scared, but managing. He wanted to thank us for the broadcast, for the information and the company. He says hearing a voice makes them feel less alone. David, if you're still listening, you're welcome. Thank you for reaching out. Take care of each other. 7:20 a.m. The military is conducting operations to clear key routes. They're using armored vehicles to push through contingents of affected, creating corridors for evacuation. I'm watching footage of one such operation. A convoy of Humvees and trucks moving down a main street, soldiers on the vehicles with mounted weapons, affected pressing in from all sides but unable to breach the armor. At the destination, a staging area, survivors are being loaded onto buses for transport to secure zones. It's chaotic, but it's working. People are being saved. More operations planned throughout the day. If you can reach a designated evacuation point, try to do so. 7:24 a.m. I've been thinking about the word apocalypse. It comes from Greek, its meaning revelation or unveiling. In religious context, it's associated with the end times, the final judgment. But literally, it just means something hidden becoming visible, truth being revealed. What truth is being revealed now? That civilization is fragile, maybe. That we're not as in control as we thought, that there are forces in the universe beyond our understanding. Or maybe something simpler, that we're stronger than we knew. That when everything falls apart, something in us rises up to meet the challenge. I choose to believe the second interpretation. 7:28 a.m. Power flickered again. Third time since dawn. The grid is really struggling now. Marcus says we should prepare for extended generator operation. We'll need to conserve fuel, reduce non-essential consumption. He's going to turn off some of the studio lights. Darkness as a resource. Strange new economy. 7:32 a.m. Reports from the Riverside neighborhood where this all began. The area is heavily affected. Thousands transformed in the initial vapor release. The vapor itself has mostly dissipated, but the danger remains in the form of affected individuals. Rescue teams have penetrated the area and extracted some survivors, but many are still trapped, hidden in attics, basements, closets, waiting for help that may or may not come. If you're in Riverside and you hear this, hold on. People are trying to reach you. 7:36 a.m. The scientist from earlier is back on the news. She's presenting new findings about the pathogen. It appears to be adaptive, she says. It's changing, evolving in real time. Different samples show slight variations, as if the pathogen is optimizing itself. This is concerning for several reasons. First, it suggests a level of sophistication far beyond natural evolution. Second, it might mean that countermeasures developed now could become ineffective as the pathogen changes. We're not just fighting a static enemy, we're fighting something that's learning and adapting along with us. 7:40 a.m. Let me give you some numbers, though they're necessarily incomplete. Estimated affected in the United States, 15 to 20 million. That's a preliminary figure based on population in exposed areas. It could be higher. Estimated survivors in heavily affected zones unknown, but probably millions as well. Hidden, sheltered, fighting, casualties that we know of. Hundreds of thousands confirmed, likely far more unreported. Scale of destruction still being assessed, but major infrastructure damage in all major cities. These are terrible numbers. Incomprehensible. But numbers don't capture the human reality. Each digit represents a life, a story, a world. 7:44 a.m. I'm hearing sporadic gunfire outside. Distant, maybe a few blocks away. Not automatic weapons. Probably survivors or police dealing with immediate threats. The sound of resistance. The sound of people refusing to give up. 7:48 a.m. Marcus has made contact with another broadcast station. They're operating out of a community radio setup in the suburbs. Skeleton crew, backup power, determined to stay on air. We're going to try to coordinate, share information, cross-promote, create a network. The more voices out there, the better. Their frequency is 91.3 FM if you can reach it. They're calling themselves the Resistance Radio. A bit dramatic, but I like it. 7:52 a.m. The news is showing images from space, satellite photos of the impact sites, the vapor clouds, the spread of the crisis. From orbit, you can see the patterns. The impact sites distributed across the globe, roughly evenly spaced as if placed by design. The vapor spreading from each point following wind and geography. The darkness of cities that have lost power, going black on the night side images. Earth looks wounded, scarred, but still there, still turning. 7:56 a.m. I want to take a moment to talk about mental health. I know it might seem trivial given everything else, but it's not. What we're experiencing is trauma. Massive, unprecedented trauma. Even if you're physically safe, your mind is under assault. Fear, grief, shock, anger, all the emotions are valid and expected. Don't suppress them. Don't pretend you're fine when you're not. Feel what you feel. Talk about it if you can. Cry if you need to. And watch out for each other. If someone in your group is struggling, be there for them. We're all we've got right now. 8 a.m. 8 hours since the first impact. Half a day. It feels like a lifetime. I'm going to keep broadcasting as long as I can. But I'm also going to need to rest eventually. Marcus will take over when I can't continue. For now, though, I'm here. I'm with you. 8:04 a.m. New information from the military. They've established a chain of secure zones extending from the downtown area to the suburbs. If you're trying to evacuate, the recommended route is along Parker Street to the highway, then north toward the evacuation centers. Avoid the waterfront. Heavy affected presence there. Avoid the University District. The campus has been overrun. Avoid the industrial zone. Fires and structural damage make it impassable. Use Parker Street. Military presence along the route. Checkpoints will verify you're not affected before allowing passage. 8:08 a.m. I'm watching a helicopter rescue on the news. A family stranded on a rooftop surrounded by affected at street level. The chopper descends, hovering precariously. The soldier reaches out, pulls a child to safety, then the mother, then the father. They made it. One family saved. Multiply that by thousands. That's what's happening across the city, the country, the world. Individual rescues, individual survivals adding up to something larger. We're not going quietly. 8:12 a.m. The scientists are asking for help. They need samples from different geographic locations to understand how the pathogen varies. They need data on affected behavior. They need anything that might help them develop countermeasures. If you have relevant information, if you've observed patterns or anomalies, there are hotlines being established. I'll share the numbers when I have them. Crowdsourcing the apocalypse, it's a strange thought, but it makes sense. The more eyes, the more minds working on this, the better our chances. 8:16 a.m. I've received another message, this one troubling. A listener says they've been bitten but don't feel any different yet. They want to know what to do. This is the hardest question. If the pathogen spreads through bites, as reported, then exposure is likely, but we don't know exactly how long it takes to progress or if everyone exposed transforms. The official advice is to isolate, separate yourself from others, monitor your condition. If you start showing signs, alert someone. I know that's not comforting. I know it's essentially asking you to wait for your own transformation, but it's the safest course for everyone. I'm sorry, I wish I had better news. 8:20 a.m. The affected are definitely congregating now. The news is showing aerial footage of masses of them gather in open spaces, stadiums, parking lots, parked. They're not doing anything, just standing there, hundreds, maybe thousands in each location, as if waiting. Waiting for what? 8:24 a.m. Theories are flying. The affected might be receiving instructions somehow. They might be beige up, preparing for something. They might be drawn to each other by some instinct. No one knows. Everyone's guessing. But whatever's happening, it can't be good for us. 8:28 a.m. I'm going to read you a poem. Someone sent it to me, said they wrote it last night while hiding in their basement. I hope they're still alive. In the dark we wait for dawn that comes too late. The world we knew is gone, but still, we carry on. Through fear and fire and pain, we rise to stand again, for in the human heart, there lives a stubborn spark. Thank you, whoever you are. That's beautiful. 8:32 a.m. Marcus is back from a supply run to the break room. He's gathered everything edible, vending machine snacks, leftover lunch items from the fridge, a half-eaten birthday cake from someone's celebration earlier this week. Strange to think that celebration happened in the same world as this. Same building, same people, completely different universe. We're rationing what we have. Enough for a few days if we're careful. 8:36 a.m. More gunfire outside. Closer this time. And something else, shouting. Human voices, multiple people. I can't see what's happening from the window. The angle is wrong. Marcus is checking the other windows in the building. State 8:38 a.m. Marcus reports there's a group of survivors in the street, maybe half a dozen. They're fighting off affected ones, trying to reach a building across from ours. One of them is injured. They're dragging them along, the affected are closing in. I want to help. Every instinct says to go down there, do something. But what could I do? I'm not armed. I'm not trained. I'd just be another victim. This is the agony of observation, watching and being unable to act. 8:40 a.m. They made it. The group reached the building and got inside. I saw the door close behind them. Now I'm watching the affected gather around the entrance. Pounding on the door, that growling sound I've heard described in reports. The survivors inside must be terrified, but they're in, they have a chance. 8:44 a.m. I'm going to try something. Marcus has a loudspeaker from emergency equipment. I'm going to try to contact the building across the street. Testing. This is Daniel Rothman from Timfern 4.7 FM. Can you hear me? Nothing. Maybe they can't hear or they're afraid to respond. I'll try again. To the survivors in the building across the street, you are not alone. Help is being coordinated. Stay inside, stay quiet, wait for rescue. We're watching you. You're not forgotten. I don't know if they heard, but I had to try. 8:48 a.m. The affected at that building are dispersing. Without stimulation, they seem to lose focus. They wander off, following other sounds or movements. The door stays closed. The survivors stay hidden. Good, that's good. 8:52 a.m. The news is reporting a development in the Pacific. A naval fleet has established a quarantine zone around Hawaii. No affected individuals have been reported there. The islands may be secure. If you have the means to reach Hawaii, it might be the safest place in the United States right now. But getting there is the challenge. Airfields are compromised. Ports are chaos. It's a long shot. Still, Hawaii stands. That's something. 8:56 a.m. I'm going to tell you about the view from my window one more time. The sun is higher now, mid-morning light casting sharp shadows. The smoke has thinned a bit, blown by the wind. The streets are still empty of normal life, but populated by the new inhabitants, the affected, drifting through like ghosts. In the distance, I can see a helicopter moving. Military, probably, on some mission, some rescue. A reminder that organization persists even amid chaos. And somewhere out there, beyond my vision, millions of people are doing what I'm doing. Surviving. Waiting. Hope. We're all in this together. 9 a.m. 9 hours since the world changed. We're still here. Let me give you an update on the national situation as I understand it. The eastern seaboard is heavily affected. New York, Boston, Philadelphia, all struggling. The density and interconnection of those cities made containment almost impossible. The Midwest is doing relatively better. Chicago is bad, but smaller cities and rural areas have significant survivor populations. The military is establishing a major presence there. The West Coast is mixed. Seattle and Portland are largely overrun. Los Angeles is contested, as I mentioned. San Francisco is holding, partly due to geographic factors. Texas is fighting hard. Armed civilian population plus state resources means significant resistance. Dallas and Houston are war zones, but not lost. The South is patchy, some areas fallen, others holding. The distributed population help. Overall, the country is wounded, but not defeated. We're still fighting. 9:04 a.m. I want to address the question of leadership. Where are our leaders? What are they doing? The president has addressed the nation twice. The governors are managing their states. The military is deployed. The systems are working more or less, but let's be honest, no one was prepared for this. No one could have been. All the emergency plans, all the contingency procedures, they assumed natural disasters, maybe terrorism. Not this, not alien. So our leaders are improvising, just like the rest of us, making it up as they go. Some are doing well, some aren't. Don't wait for someone to save you. Don't assume the authorities have answers they don't have. Take responsibility for yourself and those around you. That's the only way we get through this. 9:08 a.m. The affected congregations are growing. The news is showing aerial views of massive gatherings, tens of thousands in some locations. Still not moving, just gathering. Scientists are speculating about swarm behavior, hive intelligence, pheromone communication. They're trying to understand, but they don't know yet. What happens when those congregations start moving? When they act as a coordinated mass instead of scattered individuals? I don't want to find out. 9:12 a.m. Marcus has been working on something. He's trying to boost our signal, reach more people, technical stuff. I don't fully understand, but apparently we can potentially double our range if we can access the building's roof antenna. The problem, getting to the roof means going through parts of the building we haven't secured, parts where the affected might be. We're debating whether to try. 9:16 a.m. Decision made. We're going to attempt it, but carefully. Marcus will go, armed with a fire extinguisher from the hallway. I'll stay here. Maintain the broadcast. Monitor his progress by walkie-talkie. If something goes wrong, at least one of us can continue. This is the calculus now. Everything is risk versus reward. 9:18 a.m. Marcus is heading out. I'm watching him through the studio window until he reaches the stairwell door. He gives me a thumbs up, then disappears. I'm alone now. Really alone. Just me and the microphone. Come back safe, Marcus. Please. 9:22 a.m. Marcus checks in. He's on the 4th floor, no sign of affected. The building seems clear so far. He's moving to the 5th floor now. 2 more to go before the roof access. 9:25 a.m. 5th floor, clear. Marcus reports seeing evidence that people were here, abandoned belongings, a half-eaten meal. But no people. They must have evacuated or been taken. 1 more floor to go. 9:28 a.m. Marcus is at the roof access door. It's locked, but he has the key from the maintenance closet. He's opening it now. Silence on the walkie-talkie. 5 seconds. 10. Marcus, respond. 9:29 a.m. He's okay. The roof is clear. Wide open space, nothing moving. He can see for miles up there, he says. The city spread out below, smoke rising from a dozen fires, the affected visible as dark clusters in the streets. He's moving to the antenna now. 9:32 a.m. Technical difficulties. The antenna connection is corroded, probably from weather exposure. Marcus is trying to clean it, establish a better connection. Come on. 9:35 a.m. Success. Marcus reports that the connection is established. Our signal should be stronger now, reaching farther, more people can hear us. He's heading back down now. 9:38 a.m. Marcus is back in the booth. He's wounded but okay. Says the view from the roof was sobering. Like looking at the end of the world, he says. I tell him it's not the end. It's just a really bad chapter. He half smiles at that. Gallows humor. It helps. 9:42 a.m. With the boosted signal, we might be reaching new listeners. Let me repeat the key information for anyone just tuning in. This is Timo 4.7 FM emergency broadcast. I'm Daniel Rothman. Last night, multiple objects of apparent extraterrestrial origin impacted sites around the world, including one near Interstate 74 in our area. These objects released a vapor containing an unknown pathogen that causes severe neurological changes in exposed humans. Affected individuals are aggressive and dangerous. They should be avoided at all costs. If confrontation is unavoidable, aim for the head. Shelter in place if you're somewhere secure. If you need to evacuate, designated routes and shelters have been established. Travel during daylight when the affected seem less active. Stay calm. Stay safe. Help is being coordinated. You're not alone. We're all in this together. 9:46 a.m. The news is showing footage from overseas now. London has established a secure zone around Parliament. The affected have been pushed back, at least temporarily. Paris is struggling. The city's layout, with its narrow streets and interconnected neighborhoods, makes defense difficult. Berlin reports significant civilian resistance. Organized groups are supplementing military efforts. Moscow is silent. No official information, just speculation. China similarly opaque. The whole world is fighting the same battle. Different terrain, same enemy. 9:50 a.m. A message from Sarah, the listener I mentioned earlier, the one hiding in the closet. She made it out. She heard them leave, waited an hour to be sure, then escaped through a window. She's at a shelter now, shaken but alive. Sarah, I'm so glad you're safe. Thank you for letting me know. 9:54 a.m. The affected congregations are starting to move. Just one so far on the news, a mass of thousands in a stadium beginning to flow out through the exits. They're moving with purpose now, like a tide. They're heading toward the downtown secure zone. The military is preparing to meet them. This could be the first large-scale confrontation. 9:57 a.m. I'm watching it unfold. Soldiers positioned along barricades, armored vehicles anchoring the line, helicopters overhead for air support, and approaching slowly but inexorably the mass of affected, a wave of bodies. Former humans, now something else. The gunfire begins. 10 a.m. The battle is intense. Constant gunfire, explosions from vehicles, the roar of helicopters. The affected fall but keep coming. The ones behind climb over the ones in front. The line holds. For now. But there are so many. This is what war looks like. This is what we're facing. 10:04 a.m. The military has called in air support. Fighter jets streaking overhead, dropping ordnance on the rear of the affected mass, trying to break the wave, reduce the numbers. Explosions tear through the crowd, bodies scatter, but still they come. 10:08 a.m. The line is bending. Some sections are overwhelmed. Soldiers falling back, fighting hand-to-hand in places. But reinforcements are arriving. Fresh troops, more vehicles. They're trying to stabilize. This is not a movie. This is not scripted. Real people are dying right now on both sides, if you can call the affected aside. 10:12 a.m. The news feed cuts out. Technical difficulties, they say. I don't know if that means something happened or just equipment failure. I'm switching to scanner traffic. Lots of chatter, hard to follow. Orders being shouted, positions reported, casualties listed. The battle continues. 10:16 a.m. Scanner report the affected wave has been broken. Concentrated fire and air support have decimated the front ranks. The remainder are scattering, losing cohesion. The secure zone holds. This time, 10:20 a.m. Casualties on our side are significant but survivable. The military is regrouping, reinforcing weak points. They know this was just a test. More will come. I'm relieved but not reassured. If this is what one congregation can do, what happens when all of them move at once? 10:24 a.m. I need to rest my voice. Marcus will take over for a bit, read updates, keep you company. I'll be back soon. Stay safe out there. 10:27 a.m. This is Marcus Chin. Daniel's taking a break. I'll be your host for a little while. I'm not as smooth as Daniel, more of a behind-the-scenes guy, but I'll do my best. Let me give you an update on our local situation. The building we're in seems secure. We've confirmed that the first 3 floors are empty and roof access is controlled. The affected outside are present, but not concentrated near us. Other buildings nearby show signs of survivors. We've seen movement in windows, heard sounds of activity. We're trying to establish communication, but it's difficult without exposing ourselves. 10:31 a.m. I want to tell you something about myself. I've worked at this station for about a year. Before that, I was in school, studying electrical engineering. Radio was supposed to be a temporary gig, something to pay the bills while I figured out my career. Now, it might be the most important thing I've ever done. Helping people stay informed, stay connected, it matters. Funny how life works. 10:35 a.m. The news is showing survivor stories. A woman who hid in a meat locker at a grocery store, the cold slowing the pathogen somehow, allowing her to survive exposure. A man who led a group through the sewers to escape an overrun building. A child who walked miles alone to find help. Humans are adaptable, resilient, stubborn in the best way. 10:39 a.m. Military engineers are working on barrier systems, walls, trenches, fortifications. They're trying to create defensible zones that can hold against affected waves. Medieval tactics for a postmodern threat. Stone walls might work where electronic systems fail. Whatever works. Adapt and survive. 10:43 a.m. Daniel's awake, finishing some coffee. He'll be back soon. I want to say something before I hand back to him. I've been scared since this started. Really scared. I'm not a brave person by nature. I like quiet, predictable things. This is neither. But doing this broadcast, talking to you all, it helps. It reminds me that I'm not alone, that we're in this together. Thanks for listening. It means more than you know. 10:47 a.m. This is Daniel Rothman back at the microphone. Thanks, Marcus. While I was resting, I was thinking about something. The question of what we're fighting for. Survival is the immediate answer, but survival alone isn't enough, is it? We need something beyond just living. A reason to live. For me, it's connection. The people I love, the community I'm part of, the chance to share stories, help each other, build something together. For you, it might be different. Family, faith, art, knowledge, whatever gives your life meaning. Hold on to that. Let it fuel you. Don't just survive. Fight for something worth surviving for. 10:51 a.m. The military has released an official statement about the recent battle. They're calling it a victory, but a costly one. Hundreds of soldiers wounded or killed. Thousands of affected neutralized. They're praising the bravery of the troops, acknowledging the sacrifice, promising continued resistance. Words mostly, but words matter. They shape how we see ourselves, what we believe is possible. 10:55 a.m. The affected congregations are reforming. Different locations now, not the same ones as before. They're adapting to, learning from the battle. The military is repositioning to meet them. More battles to come. This is siege warfare now. Attack and defense, advance and retreat. A grinding contest of attrition. The question is, who runs out of resources first? Them or us? 11 a.m., 12 hours since the impacts. The sun is high, approaching noon. Shadows are short, the day is warm, almost pleasant. If you didn't know what was happening, you might think it was a nice day. But we know, we all know. 11:04 a.m. I've been thinking about the pathogen's origin. The scientists say extraterrestrial, engineered, deliberately designed. That implies intelligence, planning, So who are they? What do they look like? What do they want? We've imagined aliens for decades. Little green men, insectoid creatures, energy beings, machines, countless forms across countless stories. But we've never imagined this, an invisible attack, a weapon that turns us against ourselves. No invaders to fight, just our own transformed neighbors and loved ones. If I were an alien planning to conquer Earth, this is exactly how I'd do it. Efficient, elegant, horrifying. 11:08 a.m. The theological perspective being shared online. This is divine judgment. Humanity's sins being punished. The end times. I understand why people reach for those explanations. In the face of the inexplicable, we want meaning, purpose. Even punishment is better than randomness. But I don't believe that's what this is. Not because I don't believe in the divine, but because punishing us through something so cruel seems inconsistent with most concepts of God I know. This is an attack, external, deliberate. We are the victims, not the guilty. 11:12 a.m. Practical information. The water supply in most areas is still functioning. The treatment plants are automated and can run without staff for a while, so tap water should be safe. But this will change as time passes. Infrastructure requires maintenance. Without it, systems fail. Store water now while you can. Don't wait until it's too late. 11:16 a.m. Reports of survivors discovering a pattern: the affected avoid fire. Not just because it damages them, but they seem repelled by it. They'll turn away from flames even when prey is visible on the other side. This could be useful. Establishing fire barriers using torches for defense. The oldest technology becoming relevant again. Of course, fire brings its own dangers, especially in urban areas. Use carefully. 11:20 a.m. I'm watching a live feed from the government secure zone. The president is receiving briefings, making decisions, surrounded by advisors, military officers, scientists. He looks tired. They all do, but they're working, planning, fighting back. Whatever differences we might have had politically, they don't matter now. We're all on the same side, the side of the living. 11:24 a.m. The news is reporting that the pathogen has been successfully sequenced. Scientists now understand its genetic or analogous structure. This is a crucial step. With the sequence known, they can begin developing targeted countermeasures, antivirals, genetic therapies, something to fight the pathogen at the molecular level. The timeline is still uncertain, days at minimum, maybe weeks. But there's hope in knowing the enemy better. 11:28 a.m. Movement in the building across the street. One of the survivors is at the window. They're waving. I wave back. They can see me. Marcus suggests trying the loudspeaker again. This time, maybe they'll respond. 11:31 a.m. Using the loudspeaker. To the survivors across the street. We see you. We're at 10:04.7 FM. If you can hear this, signal back. The person at the window is moving. They're holding up something. A sign, maybe. Too far to too clearly. They're pointing. Pointing at something. Pointing down. There's an affected at their building's entrance. They're warning us. Thank you, stranger. Well, watch out. 11:35 a.m. The affected near that building is wandering away now. No immediate threat. We've established visual communication with our neighbors. A small thing, but it feels like progress. 11:39 a.m. The news is interviewing a survivor who escaped from an affected congregation. He infiltrated it accidentally, stumbled in while lost. He describes being surrounded by thousands of them. They didn't attack him, he says. They seemed to sense he was different, but they didn't react, just kept standing there, waiting. He moved through them slowly, trying not to draw attention. Made it to the edge and escaped. Why didn't they attack? Is there something about the congregations that changes their behavior? Another mystery. 11:43 a.m. I want to share something from my personal history that feels relevant now. When I was younger, I went through a period of severe depression, the kind where getting out of bed felt impossible, where the future seemed empty and pointless. I got through it with help, therapy, medication, support from people who cared. It took time, but I came out the other side. I learned something from that experience. You can survive things that seem unsurvivable. You can endure more than you think. That's what I'm holding on to now, the knowledge that humans can get through almost anything if we keep going. If we don't give up, don't give up. Please. 11:47 a.m. Marcus is pointing at something outside. There's smoke rising from a building a few blocks away. More than normal. A fire probably active. No sirens. No fire trucks. Nobody's coming to put it out. The fire will spread if left unchecked. More buildings lost. More danger for survivors. This is what happens when civilization fails. The safety nets we rely on disappear. We're on our own. 11:51 a.m. The fire is definitely growing. I can see flames now licking out of windows on upper floors. If the wind shifts toward us, we might need to evacuate. Another variable to worry about. Marcus is preparing our emergency bags, just in case. 11:55 a.m. The wind is holding steady, blowing the fire away from us. For now, we're safe. But the view is getting worse. Orange flames against gray smoke. Another piece of the city dying. Noon. 12 hours since this began. Half a day, or an eternity depending on how you measure. I'm going to summarize what we know as of now. The pathogen is extraterrestrial in origin, engineered complex. It transforms humans into affected individuals with degraded cognition and heightened aggression. Transmission occurs through vapor exposure and physical contact with affected, particularly bites. There is currently no cure or treatment. Prevention through avoidance is the only protection. Affected individuals are dangerous but not unstoppable. They can be neutralized through head trauma. They seem repelled by fire and less active in daylight. The affected are beginning to exhibit swarm behavior, congregating and potentially coordinating. Military and civilian defense continues. Safe zones are established in various locations. Evacuation and rescue operations are ongoing. Scientists are working toward countermeasures. Progress is being made, but a solution is not imminent. That's where we stand. Bad, but not hopeless. 12:04 p.m. The fire continues to burn. Several buildings now. A black column of smoke rises into the sky, visible for miles. Somewhere in that inferno there might have been survivors. Now there aren't. I can't dwell on that. Can't let every loss paralyze me. Focus on what can be done, not what's already happened. 12:08 p.m. I'm receiving reports that some affected individuals have started exhibiting new behaviors. Instead of random wandering or congregation, some are entering buildings systematically, searching. If they're learning to hunt more effectively, that's a significant escalation. Hiding won't be as safe as it was. We need to be more proactive, better defenses, better escape plan. 12:12 p.m. The news is showing a press conference from the National Institutes of Health. Scientists presenting their findings in more detail. The pathogen targets the prefrontal cortex specifically. That's the part of the brain responsible for planning, decision-making, personality. Destroying it leaves the brainstem and limbic system intact, which control basic functions and emotions like aggression. It's surgical, precise, designed to create exactly the effect we're seeing. Whoever made this knew human biology intimately, studied us, understood. 12:16 p.m. A philosophical question: are the affected still human? They have human bodies, human DNA, human histories. But the thing that made them people, their minds, their personalities, is gone. Are they dead? Are they alive but changed? Are they something in between? I don't have an answer. But how we think about this matters. It affects how we treat them, how we treat ourselves, what kind of world we're fighting for. 12:20 p.m. Marcus just handed me a list of listener messages, dozens of them flooding in since we boosted the signal. I can't read them all, but let me share a few. From Amy: I'm with my grandmother in her apartment. She has dementia and doesn't understand what's happening. She keeps asking when Mom is coming. I don't know how to tell her Mom isn't coming. Thank you for your voice in the darkness. From James, different James than before. I'm a firefighter. My whole crew is gone. I'm alone in the station. I keep responding to calls, but there's no one to respond with. I'll keep going as long as I can. From Anonymous: I bit one of them back. Stupid, I know. But I was so angry. Is that going to count as exposure? Will I become one of them because I fought back? I don't know the answer to that last one. The pathogen transfers through bites, but does it work in both directions? Probably not, but I can't be sure. To all of you, thank you for writing. Thank you for sharing. We're in this together. 12:24 p.m. The military is deploying drones now, autonomous surveillance and combat platforms. They can cover more ground than human soldiers, take risks without casualties. The drones are effective against scattered affected. They can target heads with precision. But against congregations, they're less useful. Too many targets, too much chaos. Still, every tool helps. 12:28 p.m. I need to address something uncomfortable. There are reports of survivors being killed, not by affected, but by other survivors, mistaken for affected, shot on sight. This is understandable, but tragic. In fear, we see threats everywhere. Sometimes we act before we're sure. Please, be certain before you use lethal force. If you see someone, try to communicate. Affected don't respond to speech, don't coordinate, don't use tools. Survivors do. Don't kill the people we're trying to save. 12:32 p.m. The fire has jumped to another block. The smoke is thickening. The sky is darkening even though it's noon. I can smell it now, acrid and burning. The booth has air filtration, but it's not perfect. If the fire keeps spreading, we'll have to leave. Head to the roof and hope for helicopter evacuation, or risk the streets. Neither option is good. 12:36 p.m. Marcus is sealing the windows as best he can. Wet towels along the cracks, turning off the ventilation to keep smoke out. We're going to be hot and stuffy, but we'll be breathing cleaner air.
Adapt and survive.
12:40 p.m. The news is reporting on the fire. They can see it from the news helicopters. Multiple blocks involved now. The affected in the area are fleeing the flames, heading in various directions. Fire pushes them out of hiding, creates chaos, but also reveals their positions. Some military units are using the opportunity to advance, taking ground abandoned by the affected. Silver linings in the smoke. 12:44 p.m. A message from the building across the street. They've lowered a banner with writing on it. It says 12 survivors. Low water. Can you help? 12 people alive over there. Struggling. How can we help? We can't go outside safely. We can't throw water across the street. But we can include them in rescue requests. Make sure someone knows they're there. I'm going to signal back. 12:47 p.m. Using the loudspeaker, we see your message. 12 survivors, low water. We'll relay to rescue teams. Hold on. They're waving. They understand now to make good on that promise. 12:50 p.m. Marcus is trying to reach emergency services, get a message through about the survivors across the street. Lines are jammed, automated systems overwhelmed, nothing getting through. We'll keep trying. 12:54 p.m. The smoke is getting worse. I can barely see the building across the street now. The sky is orange-gray. My eyes are stinging. My throat is raw. The wet towels are helping, but not enough. We might need to move soon. 12:58 p.m. Decision time. The fire is getting close. We can stay and risk the flames, or we can try to move to a safer location. Marcus wants to try for the roof. If the fire gets close, the helicopter might be our only way out. I agree. We start gathering what we can carry. 1 p.m. We're packing essential equipment, a portable transmitter, battery-powered, some water and food, first aid supplies, the walkie-talkies. If we can get to the roof and set up the portable transmitter, I can continue broadcasting from there. The show must go on. 1:03 p.m. We're leaving the booth, heading for the stairwell. The hallway is full of smoke. Visibility is maybe 10 feet. We're staying low, moving quickly. 1:05 p.m. Fourth floor, stairwell. The smoke is less dense here, rising above us. We keep climbing. 1:07 p.m. Fifth floor. Almost there. The heat is building. I can feel it through the walls. 1:09 p.m. Roof access. Marcus unlocks the door, pushes it open. Fresh air, relatively smoky but breathable. We made it. 1:12 p.m. Setting up on the roof. The view is apocalyptic, literally. Fires across the city, smoke columns rising everywhere. The affected visible in the streets as dark shapes moving through the haze. Marcus is rigging the portable transmitter, testing connections. 1:15 p.m. We're back on the air from the roof. This is Daniel Rothman, 104.7 FM. We've had to relocate due to fire danger, but we're still broadcasting. The view from up here is sobering. The city is burning. Multiple fires merging in some places. Whole neighborhoods destroyed. But I can also see movement, helicopters, vehicles, people, activity. That means resistance continues. We're not done yet. 1:19 p.m. I want to tell you about the sky. Beyond the smoke, where the air is clearer, it's a beautiful blue. The sun is shining. Birds are flying, somehow still alive, going about their business like nothing's wrong. Nature doesn't care about our crisis. It just continues. The world keeps turning, indifferent to our suffering. There's something both depressing and comforting in that. Depressing because we don't matter as much as we think. Comforting because life goes on, whatever happens to us. 1:23 p.m. The fire is reaching our building now. I can see flames on the lower floors. The structural integrity is probably compromised, but we're on the roof. As long as the building stands, we're above the flames. And if it doesn't stand, well, at least we tried. 1:27 p.m. Marcus points out something important. The building across the street, where our fellow survivors are, is upwind of the fire. They should be safe from the flames, at least. Maybe we can reach them from here. If we can find a way across. 1:30 p.m., there's a fire escape on our building on the side away from the flames that leads down to the alley. From there, it's maybe 50 feet to the other building's entrance. If we can cross that space safely, avoiding any affected, we can try to reach the survivors. It's risky, but those people need help. 1:33 p.m., decision made. Marcus will stay here, keep broadcasting, maintain contact. I'm going down. Someone has to try. 1:35 p.m., climbing down the fire escape. The metal is hot from the nearby flames, but bearable. One story at a time. 1:38 p.m. Ground level, alley is clear. I can see the main street at one end, affected shapes moving in the smoke. I stay low, stay quiet, move toward the other building. 1:40 p.m., halfway across. No reaction from the affected on the street. They haven't noticed me. 25 feet to go. 1:42 p.m. I'm at the building. The front door is barricaded from inside. I knock quietly. Wait. Nothing. They might not hear me. Or they might not trust me. I knock again. Whisper through the crack, I'm from the radio. 104.7, I'm here to help. 1:44 p.m., the door opens, a face peers out. Young woman, early 20s. Terrified but hopeful. You're real? She asks. I'm real, I say. How can I help? 1:47 p.m. Inside the building, 12 survivors, as the sign said. Mix of ages, conditions, some injured, all dehydrated. They fled here from different places as the crisis unfolded, found each other, banded together. Their water ran out yesterday. They've been drinking from the toilet tanks. I give them what I brought. It's not much, a few bottles, but it's something. 1:50 p.m. I'm gathering information. Where are they hurt? What do they need? Can they move if rescue comes? Most can walk. 2 are immobile. An elderly man with a broken leg, a woman in shock, unresponsive. Getting them out will require stretchers, assistance, beyond what I can provide alone. 1:53 p.m., I radio Marcus. Update him on the situation. He's relaying to any rescue frequencies he can reach. Help is needed. 12 survivors, 2 non-ambulatory located in the building at 4012 Commerce Street. If anyone receives this, please respond. 1:57 p.m. While we wait for help, I talk to the survivors. Learn their stories. Emily was a barista. She was closing her coffee shop when the first affected appeared, locked herself in the back room, waited until morning. David was the accountant working late, watched his coworkers transform, escaped through a window, fell 2 stories, fractured his wrist. Sarah, different Sarah, was just visiting the city, tourist from Oregon, trapped in a hotel when chaos erupted, made her way here over 2 days of hiding and running. Each story is a miracle. Against all odds, they survived. 2 p.m. 14 hours since the impacts. I'm still in the building with the survivors. Marcus is still on the roof broadcasting. We're connected by radio. No word yet on rescue. 2:04 p.m. I noticed something while looking out a window. The affected in the street are behaving differently. They're all facing the same direction. The east, not moving, just facing. Oriented. Facing what? What's to the east? 2:07 p.m. Marcus confirms from the roof. He can see the same thing. Affected across the visible area, all oriented eastward. Something's happening. Something is calling them. 2:10 p.m. News reports confirm it. Affected worldwide are orienting in the same direction. toward a point in the Atlantic Ocean. That's where the largest object landed, the biggest impact, the central one. Are they being summoned? Controlled? Is something waking up? 2:14 p.m. The government is scrambling to respond. Military assets being redirected toward the Atlantic. Ships, planes, submarine. Whatever fell there, whatever's happening now, it's the key to everything. 2:17 p.m. The survivors here are frightened. They've noticed the change too. The affected outside all facing away, ignoring everything else. Is this good or bad? Good because they're not hunting us. Bad because it means something worse is coming. 2:20 p.m. I need to get back to Marcus. We need to be together for whatever happens next. I tell the survivors I'll return. I mark their location on my mental map. I promise. 2:23 p.m. Back through the alley. The affected haven't moved, still facing east. I pass within feet of them. They don't react. Whatever has their attention, it's more important than prey. 2:26 p.m. Fire escape, climbing. The flames have reached higher now. Parts of the building are collapsing, but the escape is still intact. 1 floor. 2:29 p.m. Roof. Marcus grabs my arm, helps me over the edge. You made it, he says. They're all facing east, I say. I know. Everyone is, even the congregations. 2:32 p.m. The sky to the east is changing. The smoke is cleared in that direction. We can see the horizon. There's something there. A shape. Rising. It's far away, hard to make out. But it's massive. Beyond massive. A silhouette against the afternoon sky. Something has emerged from the Atlantic. 2:35 p.m. The news is showing it now. Satellite imagery, aerial footage. Whatever landed in the ocean, it wasn't just an object. It was a vehicle, a vessel, a ship, and it's rising. 2:38 p.m. I'm trying to describe what I see on the screen. A shape that defies easy description, organic and mechanical at once. Curves and angles, surfaces that seem to shift and change. Big, so big. Miles across miles. This is what sent the pathogen. This is the source. 2:41 p.m. The affected worldwide have begun to move, all in the same direction, toward the vessel. They're being called home. 2:44 p.m. The military is engaging. Ships firing missiles, planes dropping bombs. Everything we have, thrown at this thing. The weapons impact. Explosions bloom against the surface. Nothing happens. No damage visible. It keeps rising. 2:47 p.m. I don't know what to say. I've been talking for hours, trying to provide information, hope, guidance. But what do you say when you see something like this? When everything you knew about the universe is shattered in an instant. We're not alone. We never were. And whatever's out there, it's not friendly. 2:50 p.m. The vessel is fully above the water now, hovering. Wait, below it, the affected converge from all directions. Millions of them. Perhaps billions worldwide. An army, assembled by the pathogen, delivered by us. 2:53 p.m. The president is addressing the nation again. His voice is different now, less measured, more desperate. He's calling for calm, but there's no calm in his words. He's promising response, but what response is possible? We're facing something beyond our capacity to fight. 2:56 p.m. But here's the thing. We're still here, still fighting, still surviving. The affected may have been turned against us, but millions of humans remain. Hiding, fighting, refusing to submit. Whatever that vessel is, whatever comes next, we're not giving up. Not today. Not ever. 2:59 p.m. The vessel is doing something, a sound almost below hearing. The vibration that I can feel in my chest. And light. Beams of light descending from the vessel to points across the horizon. What is it doing? Communicating? Scanning? Attacking? We wait. We watch. We hold our breath. 3 p.m. 15 hours since everything changed. The lights from the vessel have touched down in multiple locations. Where they land, the affected stop moving. They stand still, bathed in the glow. And then they begin to change. 3:03 p.m. I'm watching footage from a news drone near one of the light columns. The affected within it are transforming, growing. Their bodies expanding, distorting. They're becoming something else. Something larger. Something worse. 3:06 p.m. The military is redirecting all forces to attack the light columns. If they can disrupt whatever process is happening, maybe they can stop the transformation. Missiles streak toward the nearest column. They enter the light and detonate. Nothing. The light continues. The process continues. 3:09 p.m. I feel like I should be panicking. Maybe I am, deep down. But there's a strange calm on the surface. When everything is impossible, panic seems pointless. I just keep talking, keep broadcasting, keep being a voice in the darkness. That's all I can do. 3:12 p.m. The first transformed affected have emerged from the light columns. I can barely describe them. Towering figures, 20 feet tall, 30, bodies that combine human and something else. Armored, armed, in ways I don't understand. They're soldiers. That's what the pathogen was building. Not just an army of shambling attackers, but raw material for something more. 3:15 p.m. The transformed are engaging military positions. Our weapons are more effective against them than the vessel, but they're incredibly resilient. It takes concentrated fire to bring one down, and more keep emerging. We're losing. Positions falling. Lines collapsing. 3:18 p.m. But here's the thing about humans. We don't quit easy. I'm seeing reports of civilians joining the fight. Armed citizens, militias, anyone with a weapon, standing alongside soldiers, fighting for their homes, their families, their species. It's not organized. It's not strategic. But it's something. 3:21 p.m. Marcus taps my shoulder, points at the sky. There's something else up there. Not from the vessel, from above, from space. Trails of fire, objects entering the atmosphere, more impacts, more pathogen. 3:24 p.m. The objects aren't falling randomly. They're targeting the vessel. Someone is attacking someone else. Another species? Another faction? I don't know. But they're hitting the vessel with something powerful. Explosions that actually seem to affect it. The vessel is reacting, shifting, defending itself. 3:27 p.m. This is beyond anything I can comprehend. Alien warfare above our heads. Humanity caught in the crossfire. All I can do is describe what I see. Lights in the sky. Explosions. The vessel turning to face its attackers. And on the ground, the transformed affected suddenly hesitating, confused. The signal disrupted. 3:30 p.m. The new attackers, whoever they are winning. The vessel is damaged, sections breaking away, falling toward the ocean. The light columns are flickering, dying. 3:33 p.m. A transmission, I don't know how we're receiving it, but it's coming through the radio. The voice synthesized, translated somehow into English. It says, "People of Earth, we have observed. We have intervened. The Hollower fleet has been neutralized. What remains is yours to resolve. We offer no further assistance. Survival is your responsibility." And then silence. 3:36 p.m. The vessel is falling, crashing into the Atlantic. A massive impact visible from satellites, waves radiating outward. The transformed affected are collapsing. The connection severed. Without guidance, they're just bodies, falling where they stand. The original affected remain, still dangerous, still numerous, but no longer being reinforced. 3:39 p.m. I don't know what just happened. Aliens attacked us. Other aliens defended us, or at least stopped the attack. We're still surrounded by affected, still in crisis, but the existential threat, the vessel, is gone. 3:42 p.m. The president is speaking again. Disbelief in his voice, gratitude, confusion. He's declaring this a turning point, calling for renewed effort, promising that we will reclaim our world. Easy to say, harder to do, but possible now. It wasn't possible an hour ago. 3:45 p.m. Let me tell you what I see from the roof. The fires are still burning. The smoke still rises. The affected still wander the streets. But the sky is clearing. The foreign vessel is gone. Whatever attacked, whatever defended, has departed. We're alone again, just us and our problems. 3:48 p.m. The next phase begins now. Clearing the affected, reclaiming territory, rebuilding. It will take months, years, maybe. The world has changed fundamentally, but there is a world that's more than we could have hoped for an hour ago. 3:51 p.m. I want to thank whoever, whatever saved us, even if we never know their name, their species, their motivation. And I want to thank all of you, the listeners, the survivors, the fighters. We made it through the night, we made it through the day. We're still here. 3:54 p.m. This is Daniel Rothman on 4.7 FM. I've been broadcasting for almost 16 hours now. I'm exhausted beyond words, but I'm not stopping. Not yet. There are survivors who need to hear this, need to know that the threat has changed, that hope exists, so I'll keep talking, keep broadcasting, keep being a voice. That's what I do. That's what I'm for. 3:57 p.m. The survivors in the building across the street, I need to get back to them. Tell them what's happened, help them if I can. Marcus will continue the broadcast. I'll return when I can. 4 p.m. 16 hours. The longest day of my life. But the sun is still up, still hours of daylight left, hours to work, to fight, to survive. We're not done. We're just getting started. 4:03 p.m. Back down the fire escape. The building is more damaged now, but the route is still passable. The affected in the alley are still there, but they're different. Slower, less coordinated, whatever was controlling them is weakened or gone. I move quickly but carefully, reach the other building. 4:06 p.m. Inside again. The survivors heard the transmissions. They know something happened. They're crowded around a battery radio listening. They see me and the questions start. What was that? What happens now? Are we safe? I don't have all the answers. I tell them what I know. 4:09 p.m. The injured need medical attention. The dehydrated need more water. Everyone needs food, rest, hope. I can't provide much of that, but I can stay with them. Be present. Let them know they're not alone. 4:12 p.m. Through the window I see something new. Movement that's not affected. A military convoy. Humvees and trucks moving down the street. They're clearing the area, methodically, carefully. Help is coming. 4:15 p.m. I flag them down, wave from the window. They see me. A soldier speaks through a loudspeaker. Survivors in the building. How many? 12. I call back. 2 need stretchers. They're sending a team in. 4:18 p.m. The soldiers arrive, professional, efficient. They assess the survivors, prioritized by need. The injured are loaded onto stretchers. The ambulatory are guided to the trucks. We're being evacuated. 4:21 p.m. I look back at the building as we leave. Our shelter for how long? Hours. Maybe. Felt like forever. Thank you, building. You kept us alive. 4:24 p.m. The convoy moves through cleared streets. I see bodies of affected neutralized by the soldiers before us. See barricades, checkpoints, signs of organized resistance. The city is being reclaimed, block by block. 4:27 p.m. We arrive at a secure zone, tents, medical facilities, food distribution, hundreds of survivors already here. It's chaotic, but it's organized. Help exists. The system, broken as it is, still functions. 4:30 p.m. I find a radio, tuned to 104.7. Marcus is still broadcasting. Good. I grab a mic. Marcus, it's Daniel. I'm at the secure zone. I'm okay. Good to hear your voice, he says. Ready to take over? Give me 10 minutes. I need water. I need to sit down. I need to process. 10 minutes. Then back to work. 4:40 p.m. This is Daniel Rothman, broadcasting from the secure zone at Washington High School. I've seen things today that I'll never forget. Horror and heroism. Despair and hope. The end of the world and its salvation. We're still here. Against all odds, we're still here. 4:43 p.m. Let me give you an update on the situation as of now. The alien vessel has been destroyed by unknown entities. The transformed affected have collapsed. The original affected remain dangerous but are no longer being reinforced. Military and civilian forces are conducting clearing operations across the city and country. Safe zones are expanding. Survivors are being rescued. The crisis is not over, but it has fundamentally changed. We have a chance now. 4:46 p.m. I want to acknowledge what we've lost. The numbers are still being counted, but they're enormous. Millions dead or affected, cities damaged, infrastructure crippled. We will mourn. We must mourn. But not yet. Not while there's still work to do. 4:49 p.m. The scientists are continuing their analysis of the pathogen. With the alien vessel destroyed, there's hope that a cure or treatment might be possible now. Without the controlling signal, the pathogen might be more vulnerable. Research continues around the clock. 4:52 p.m. Messages are flooding in now that communications are partially restored. Stories of survival, requests for help, searches for loved ones. I'll share what I can. Maria in the east side says her apartment building held throughout the crisis. 30 survivors banded together, defended their home. They're running low on supplies but holding on. Help is being dispatched. Maria, 4:55 p.m. Tom from the suburbs says the affected have cleared from his neighborhood. He's venturing out for the first time in hours. The streets are empty but intact. Be careful, Tom. Stay alert. 4:58 p.m. Anonymous shares that they lost their entire family. Mother, father, sister, all affected in the first wave. They're alone now. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine the pain. But you're not alone. We're all here. We're all survivors. 5 p.m., 18 hours since the impacts. The sun is beginning to set, our first sunset of this new world. 5:03 p.m. I'm thinking about what comes next. Not just the immediate future, the clearing and rescuing and rebuilding, but the long term. We've been contacted by extraterrestrial intelligence, not once, but twice. One hostile, one apparently neutral. We're not alone in the universe. We never were. What does that mean for humanity? For our sense of ourselves, our place in existence? I don't know, but we'll have time to figure it out. Time we didn't think we'd have this morning. 5:06 p.m. The secure zone is growing. More survivors arriving every hour. The atmosphere is hard to describe. Relief mixed with grief. Joy mixed with trauma. We're processing. All of us. It'll take a long time. 5:09 p.m. I see children here, playing somehow, finding moments of normalcy amid the chaos. Children are resilient, more resilient than adults sometimes. They adapt, move forward, keep living. We can learn from them. 5:12 p.m. The military commander is making an announcement. The perimeter is secure. The night will be defended. Everyone can rest. Rest. The word seems foreign, but necessary. 5:15 p.m. Marcus has joined me at the secure zone. He made it off the roof, down through the building as it became unsafe, rescued by a patrol. We're together again. The whole 104.7 team, such as it is. 5:18 p.m. We're setting up for overnight broadcasting. The secure zone has power, generators, and some grid restoration. We can transmit from here. The show goes on. 5:21 p.m. I want to talk about what the unknown entities said. Survival is your responsibility. No saviors, no ongoing protection. Whatever helped us, they're not staying. We have to do this ourselves. Clear the affected, rebuild society, heal from the trauma. It's daunting, but also empowering. Our fate is in our hands. 5:24 p.m. The sun is setting now, orange and red across the western sky. Beautiful in a way the dawn wasn't. This morning, I watched sunrise wondering if it would be the last. Tonight, I watch sunset knowing there will be a tomorrow. That's progress. That's hope. 5:27 p.m. I'm going to take a break, eat something, drink something, rest my voice. Marcus will take over for a while. Thank you all for being with me today, for listening, for surviving. We'll get through this together. 5:30 p.m. This is Marcus Chen on 104.7 FM. Daniel's resting. I'll keep you company for a while. The secure zone is settling in for the night. Tents are set up. Food is distributed. Medical care is available. It's not comfortable, but it's safe. 5:33 p.m. I want to share something about Daniel. He's been doing this for 16 hours straight. Barely any breaks. Pushing through exhaustion and fear and uncertainty. That's the kind of person he is. Dedicated. Stubborn. Determined to help. I'm proud to work with him. Proud to be here. 5:36 p.m. The news is continuing to cover developments, other cities, other countries, similar patterns. The vessel's destruction was global in effect. The transformed collapsed everywhere. Clearing operations are proceeding worldwide. 5:39 p.m. Some philosophical perspective as darkness falls. We were attacked by something we don't understand. for reasons we can't fathom. We were saved by something equally mysterious. The universe is bigger and stranger than we imagined. But in the end, what matters is what we do, how we treat each other, how we rebuild. The cosmos doesn't care about us. We have to care about ourselves. 5:42 p.m. A message from the government. Curfew will be enforced tonight. All civilians should remain in secure locations until dawn. The affected are still out there. Less organized but still dangerous. Stay safe. Stay inside. Wait for daylight. 5:45 p.m. I'm watching the perimeter guards setting up, floodlights, weapons emplacements, overlapping fields of fire, professional, determined, ready. Whatever comes tonight, we're defended. 5:48 p.m. The stars are coming out. First time I've looked at them since this started. They look the same, distant, twinkling, beautiful. Whatever else has changed, the stars haven't. That's something. A constant in a universe of change. 5:51 p.m. I want to play some music. We haven't had music all day. Just talk, just crisis. But music helps, reminds us of beauty, of normalcy, of who we were before. Here's something to carry you through the night. 6 p.m., 19 hours since the impacts. The sun has set. Night has fallen. But this night is different from last night. We know what we're facing. We're organized. We're ready. We'll make it through. 6:03 p.m. This is Daniel Rothman, back on the air. I rested for about 20 minutes. Couldn't sleep. Too wired, too much adrenaline. But I ate something, drank water, stretched my legs, ready for the night shift. 6:06 p.m. The secure zone is quiet now. People settling in. Some sleeping, exhausted beyond their ability to stay awake. Others keeping watch, unable to relax. Both responses make sense. 6:09 p.m. I want to talk about something that's been on my mind. Gratitude. We complain a lot normally about traffic, weather, politics, inconveniences, small things that seem big. But right now I'm grateful for everything. Clean water, food, shelter, the people around me, the air I breathe. All of it could have been taken away. Almost was. I hope I remember this feeling. I hope we all do. 6:12 p.m. Reports from the perimeter. Light affected activity. They're out there, wandering in the darkness, but not approaching the lights and noise of the secure zone. The defenses are holding. 6:15 p.m. The scientists have released more information about the pathogen. With the vessel destroyed, its controlling signal has ceased. The affected are still dangerous, but no longer coordinated. Their behavior should become more random, less strategic. This makes them easier to deal with. Scattered threats are more manageable than organized ones. 6:18 p.m. A message from overseas. London is largely cleared. The British forces, working with civilian volunteers, have retaken most of the city. Similar reports from Berlin, Tokyo, Sydney. The tide is turning everywhere. 6:21 p.m. I want to share a moment I witnessed earlier. Two strangers meeting at the secure zone. They recognized each other, colleagues from the same office. They hugged, both crying, so relieved to see a familiar face alive. Connection, that's what we need. That's what we've always needed. 6:24 p.m. The secure zone commander is organizing work parties for tomorrow. Clearing, salvage, rescue. Everyone who's able will contribute. I'll volunteer. Radio can wait a few hours. There's physical work to be done. 6:27 p.m. More messages coming in. From Alex. My dog survived. I thought I lost him, but he was hiding under the bed. He's okay. From Michelle, I gave birth last night in a closet by myself. He's healthy. I named him Hope. From David, the one we helped earlier. Made it to a shelter. Broken wrist hurts, but I'm alive. Thank you. Stories of survival, of life continuing despite everything. 6:30 p.m. I want to address something for the first time. What happens to the affected? Millions of people transformed against their will. Are they gone forever? Is there any chance of recovery? We don't know yet. The scientists are studying it, looking for ways to reverse the process. But even if there's a cure, even if we can bring them back, some won't make it. Some have been neutralized. Some were transformed so long ago that brain damage might be permanent. It's a tragedy on top of a tragedy. 6:33 p.m. For those who lost loved ones to the transformation, I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry. They were victims. They didn't choose this. Whatever they became, whatever they did, it wasn't them. Remember them as they were, not as they were made to be. 6:36 p.m. The night is deepening. The secure zone is lit, an island of brightness in the darkness. Beyond the lights, the affected roam. But they stay away. The darkness that was their advantage is now our shield. We've learned. We're adapting. 6:39 p.m. I'm reading more of the scientific analysis. The pathogen is complex but not invulnerable. Now that it's been sequenced, countermeasures are in development. Optimistic estimates say a treatment could be available in weeks. Pessimistic estimates say months. Either way, there's an end in sight. Not just survival, but victory. 6:42 p.m. A moment of philosophy as the night deepens. We think of civilization as permanent. Building systems, routines. We assume they'll always be there, but they're not. Civilization is fragile. It requires maintenance, cooperation, trust. Without those things, it falls apart quickly. We've seen how quickly today. 6:45 p.m. But here's the flip side. Civilization can be rebuilt. It's been destroyed before by wars, by plagues, by disasters. And each time, humans picked up the pieces and started again. That's our nature. We build, we create, we refuse to stay broken. 6:48 p.m. The secure zone has a communications hub set up now. Phones working, at least loosely. People reuniting with family members, confirming who's alive and who isn't. I see tears, joy, and grief mixed together. 6:51 p.m. Marcus is encouraging me to sleep. Says I'll be useless tomorrow if I don't rest. He's right, probably. But there's so much to do, so much to say. 2 more hours, then I'll sleep. 6:54 p.m. A sound from the perimeter. Gunfire brief. Then silence. The guards report a small group of affected approach the lights. They've been neutralized. Normal activity now. The defense works. 6:57 p.m. I want to talk about the future. Not just tomorrow, but weeks, months, years from now. What kind of world do we rebuild? We could go back to what we were. Same divisions, same conflicts, same petty concerns. Or we could be different. Learn from this. Remember what matters. 7 p.m. 20 hours since the impacts. Night is fully dark now. The first day of this crisis is over. The second day will dawn in about 12 hours. We're still here. We made it. 7:03 p.m. I want to tell you something personal. When this started, I was scared. More scared than I've ever been. But I kept talking, kept broadcasting. Not because I'm brave, but because it was the only thing I could do. Action defeats fear. Doing something, anything, is better than paralysis. If you're scared, find something to do. Something useful. Something that helps. Fear fades when you're busy. 7:06 p.m. Reports of survivor groups organizing themselves. Not waiting for official rescue, but taking matters into their own hands. Clearing their neighborhoods, securing supplies, helping their neighbors. That's what we need. Bottom-up action. Community. 7:09 p.m. The scientists are requesting samples from the affected. They need more data for research. If you encounter affected remains, if you can safely collect samples, protocols are being distributed. Everyone can contribute. 7:12 p.m. A message from Hannah. I'm a nurse. I've been treating survivors for 18 hours straight. I'm exhausted, but I can't stop. There's too much to do. Hannah, you're a hero, but please rest when you can. We need you for the long haul. 7:15 p.m. The government is establishing command structures, regional coordinators, resource distribution networks, communication chains, organization emerging from chaos, order from disorder. It's beautiful in a way. 7:18 p.m. I see families here, parents holding children, siblings together, couples embracing. Not everyone made it. Many families are broken, incomplete. But those who are together hold each other tight. You've been through something unimaginable. 7:21 p.m. The perimeter is quiet. No attacks in the last hour. Maybe the affected have learned to avoid this place. Maybe they're just elsewhere. Either way, we're safe for now. 7:24 p.m. I want to acknowledge the animals, Dogs, cats, pets abandoned or lost in the chaos. We've seen some here at the secure zone, being cared for, waiting for owners who may or may not return. They didn't ask for this any more than we did. If you can help an animal, please do. 7:27 p.m. More news from overseas. Japan has declared the crisis contained. Their organized response was effective. They're already beginning reconstruction. An example of what's possible when people work together. 7:30 p.m. I'm going to share some practical information for the night. If you're in a secure location, stay there. Don't go out until daylight unless absolutely necessary. If you're mobile and seeking shelter, the nearest established safe zones in our area are Washington High School, the Civic Center, and the Riverside Community Church. Military patrols are along major routes. Keep lights on if you can. The affected avoid light sources. Stay quiet. Sound attracts them. Help is coming. Hold on. 7:33 p.m. A message from the National Broadcast Network. The President will address the nation at midnight, summarizing the day's events and outlining next steps. I'll carry the address when it happens. 7:36 p.m. The stars are fully out now. Clear sky. No smoke in this area anymore. I find constellations. Orion, the Hunter, the Big Dipper. Familiar patterns. I wonder if whoever's out there, whoever helped us, has different constellations, different patterns, different stories in the stars. 7:39 p.m. Marcus is making rounds, checking on other survivors, making sure people are okay. Good man. Does what needs to be done without being asked. 7:42 p.m. I want to read something. A text message my sister sent me hours ago. I just saw it, phone finally connecting. Danny, I'm okay, evacuated early, at shelter in the mountains. Love you, stay. She's alive. My sister is alive. I'm crying. First time today. Just now reading those words. 7:45 p.m. Sorry about that. Needed a moment. She's okay. That's all I needed to know. 7:48 p.m. For everyone still searching for loved ones, don't lose hope. Communications are spotty. People are sheltered in places without signal. You may hear from them yet. Don't give up. 7:51 p.m. The secure zone is mostly asleep now. The exhaustion of the day has claimed most people, but some of us remain awake, keeping watch, keeping the broadcast going. Night shift. Different meaning now. 7:54 p.m. I want to talk about what we've learned today, about ourselves, about each other, about humanity. We learned that we're vulnerable, that civilization can be shattered in hours. But we also learned that we're strong, that when pushed to the edge, we fight back, that we help each other, that we don't give up. 7:57 p.m. The darkness is not our enemy. The night is not our enemy. The pathogen, the vessel, the transformed, these were our enemies, and we're beating them. The darkness is just absence of light. We carry our own light inside. 8 p.m. 21 hours since the impacts. The night continues. We continue. 8:03 p.m. A sound in the distance. Not gunfire. Music. Someone is playing guitar. A soft, simple melody carrying across the quiet camp. People turn toward the sound. Listening. Remembering. Music survives. Beauty survives. 8:06 p.m. I'm going to take another short break. Let the music fill the air for a while. Be right back. 8:15 p.m. This is Daniel Rothman back on the air. The guitar has stopped, but the peace it created lingers. 8:18 p.m. Update from the military. Clearing operations are ahead of schedule. Several neighborhoods have been fully secured. Power is being restored in some areas. Progress. Real, tangible progress. 8:21 p.m. Scientists report that they've identified a potential weakness in the pathogen, a specific frequency that disrupts its cell structure. Testing is underway. If it works, we might have a weapon that can neutralize the affected without killing the host. A cure maybe, or at least a treatment. 8:24 p.m. Imagine bringing people back. The affected, our neighbors and friends and family, return to themselves. It might not be possible. The damage might be too severe, but even the possibility is hope. 8:27 p.m. The perimeter is secure. Guards report no activity. The night is quiet. Maybe the affected are avoiding this area entirely now. learning in whatever limited way they can that this place means death for them. 8:30 p.m. I want to address something we haven't talked about much, the ethical questions. The affected were humans. Many still look human. When we neutralize them, are we killing people or ending something already dead? It's a question philosophers and ethicists will debate for generations. For now, we do what we must to survive. The philosophical questions come later. 8:33 p.m. A message from Rebecca. I had to kill my neighbor. He was affected. He came at me and I had no choice. I keep seeing his face. How do I live with this? Rebecca, you did what you had to do, what any of us would do. It's not your fault. None of this is your fault. The responsibility lies with whatever sent the pathogen. Seek help when you can. Talk to someone. Don't carry this alone. 8:36 p.m. Trauma. We're all experiencing it. Massive collective trauma. The psychological toll of this day will take years to process, maybe generations. We need to be kind to each other and kind to ourselves. We've been through something unimaginable. 8:39 p.m. The Secure Zone has established a counseling area. Volunteers with mental health training are available. If you need to talk, they're there. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to need help. 8:42 p.m. More news from overseas. Australia has declared itself fully cleared. The affected population was smaller there, and their response was swift and effective. They're offering to help other nations, sending supplies, personnel, expertise, global cooperation. That's what we need. 8:45 p.m. I'm watching the sky. Clear, stars bright. Somewhere out there, whoever helped us is watching back. Or maybe they've moved on, gone to other worlds, other problems. We'll probably never know. 8:48 p.m. But here's what I do know. We're not helpless. We're not victims. We're survivors, fighters, builders. Whatever the universe throws at us, we adapt, we overcome. That's humanity. That's us. 8:51 p.m. The night is deep now. Hours until dawn. Some people are sleeping, others are working, others are watching, waiting, hoping. All valid. All necessary. 8:54 p.m. I want to share something I read once, long ago, a quote about humanity. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself. We came from the stars. Maybe that's why we looked up and wondered. Maybe that's why we never stepped exploring, questioning, reaching. 8:57 p.m. and now the stars have reached back. In violence, yes, but also in salvation. Mysterious and unexplained. We're part of something larger, a cosmic story we're only beginning to understand. 9 p.m., 22 hours since the impacts. The night continues. We continue. 9:03 p.m. Military update, major highways are being cleared. Convoys can move between cities now. This means resources can be distributed. Supplies can reach isolated survivors. Organization can expand. The network rebuilds. 9:06 p.m. I'm thinking about the children here. How do you explain this to a child? Monsters came, but we fought them, and now we're making them go away. Simple. True. Hopeful. Maybe that's how we should all understand it. 9:09 p.m. A message from Thomas. I'm 78 years old. I've seen a lot. Wars, disasters, crises. But nothing like this. And yet, watching people help each other today, I've never been more proud to be human. Thomas, thank you. Your perspective matters. 9:12 p.m. The older generation has seen so much they know that humanity endures, that we've faced darkness before and emerged. Their wisdom, their steadiness, is a gift right now. 9:15 p.m. The younger generation has energy, adaptability, a willingness to do things differently. Their flexibility, their creativity, is also a gift. We need both. We need everyone. 9:18 p.m. Unity. That's what this crisis demands. Not uniformity, not agreement on everything, but unity of purpose, standing together against the common threat. We've achieved that today. We need to maintain it. 9:21 p.m. The secure zone is fully quiet now. Most people sleeping. The guards maintaining their watch. I'm one of the few still talking. Broadcasting into the night, someone has to be the voice in the darkness. 9:24 p.m. I wonder who's listening right now. In what circumstances? Someone in a basement, hiding, hoping the affected don't find them. Someone in a shelter, surrounded by strangers, seeking comfort. Someone alone, maybe, clinging to this voice as their only connection. Whoever you are, I'm here. I'm with you. 9:27 p.m. The night seems endless, but it's not. The earth keeps turning. Dawn will come. That's the fundamental truth. Darkness is temporary. Light returns. 9:30 p.m. I want to share one more story before the midnight address. Earlier today, in the chaos of the first hours, a bus driver refused to abandon his passengers. His bus was surrounded by affected. He could have run. Instead, he kept driving. He drove through the horde, took impacts, damage, but he got his passengers to safety. His name was Jorge. He didn't survive. The bus was overrun after the passengers escaped. He stayed behind to make sure they got out. Jorge saved 12 lives. He's a hero. 9:33 p.m. There are countless stories like Jorge's, ordinary people becoming extraordinary, giving everything so others could survive. We'll tell their stories. We'll remember them. That's how we honor them. By remembering. By being worthy of their sacrifice. 9:36 p.m. The hours before midnight stretch on, dark and quiet. I'm tired. So tired. But I keep talking. Because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear this. 9:39 p.m. The scientists continue working through the night in labs across the country, across the world. They're our best hope for a real solution. A cure. A weapon that doesn't require killing the host. Work faster, please. So many lives depend on it. 9:42 p.m. The military is planning tomorrow's operations. Expanding the secure zones. Clearing more territory. A methodical approach. Block by block. House by house. It will take time, but it will work. 9:45 p.m. I want to acknowledge something. I've been broadcasting for almost 22 hours. Some of what I've said has been wrong. Probably some of my speculation has been inaccurate. I've done my best, shared what I knew, admitted what I did. I hope that's been helpful. I hope I haven't made things worse. 9:48 p.m. Feedback is coming in. People saying the broadcast helped them, kept them informed, gave them hope. Thank you. That's what I was trying to do. 9:51 p.m. 2 hours and 9 minutes until midnight. Until the president speaks. What will he say? What can he say? We've survived an alien attack. We've lost millions. We face a long recovery. There's no way to spin that, just to face it. 9:54 p.m. The night is cold now. Temperature dropping. I can see my breath in the air. People are bundling up, sharing blankets, huddling together. Warmth through connection. Basic human survival strategy. 9:57 p.m. A sound from outside the perimeter. Not close. Movement in the distance. The guards are alert but not alarmed. The affected wander but don't approach. We're safe for now. 10 p.m., 23 hours since the impacts. The longest day is almost over. 10:03 p.m. I want to talk about what tomorrow brings. Daylight. A chance to move, to act, to rebuild. Work parties will go out, clearing, salvage, rescue. Everyone who can contribute. The recovery begins in earnest. 10:06 p.m. There will be setbacks, challenges we haven't anticipated, problems we don't know how to solve yet. But there will also be progress, victories, lives saved, territory reclaimed, forward motion. That's what matters. 10:09 p.m. The secure zone will be a base of operations. From here we expand outward, eventually the whole city, then the region, then the country. Step by step, day by day. 10:12 p.m. I've received thousands of messages over the course of this broadcast. I can't read them all, but I've read. Each one represents a person, a life, a story. You matter, all of you. 10:15 p.m. The news is showing preparations for the president's address. The White House damaged but standing. Staff working to ensure the broadcast reaches everyone. History in the making. We're all witnesses. 10:18 p.m. I want to acknowledge the first responders. Police, fire, EMTs. The ones who ran toward danger from the first moments. Many didn't make it. They died doing their jobs helping others. We won't forget them. 10:21 p.m. And the military. The soldiers who held the line, who fought against impossible odds. We won't forget them either. 10:24 p.m. And the ordinary people. The ones who sheltered neighbors, shared supplies, risked everything to help strangers. Heroes, all of them. 10:27 p.m. We've seen humanity at its worst today. Violence, panic, selfishness, but we've also seen humanity at its best. Courage, compassion, sacrifice. Both are real. Both are us. We choose which one wins. 10:30 p.m. The night is deep. The cold is sharp. The stars are bright. I'm still here, still talking. Are you still listening? 10:33 p.m. A message from Lisa. I've been listening all day. Your voice has been my lifeline. Thank you for not stopping. Lisa, thank you for not giving up. That's the real courage. 10:36 p.m. 90 minutes until midnight. Until the address. I'll try to fill the time. Keep you company. 10:39 p.m. Let me tell you about my favorite place in the city. There's a park, small, nothing special. A few trees, some benches, a view of the river. I used to go there on my days off, just sit, watch the water. I don't know if it's still there, if the affected overran it, if fires reached it, but I hope so. I hope someday I can sit there again. 10:42 p.m. The small things, the quiet moments, the places we love. That's what we're fighting for, not abstractions, real, tangible, personal things. 10:45 p.m. The secure zone is shifting. People waking up, preparing for midnight. The address is important, everyone wants to hear. I'll carry it live when it happens. 10:48 p.m. The scientists have released a preliminary report on the transformation process. The pathogen attacks the prefrontal cortex first, as reported earlier. Within minutes, higher functions begin to tow. Personality, memory, judgment, all rapidly diminish. What remains is the limbic system, the fear and aggression centers, and motor control sufficient for walking, grasping, attacking. The affected aren't mindless in the technical sense, they have minds. Just extremely limited, driven entirely by primitive impulses. 10:51 p.m. The question of reversibility remains open. If the pathogen can be neutralized, the surviving brain tissue might recover, but the prefrontal damage is severe. Even with treatment, full recovery is uncertain. Some people, if cured, might come back, others might be permanently changed. 10:54 p.m. This raises difficult questions. If we can cure the affected, do we have an obligation to try, even if it's dangerous, even if resources are scarce? What do we owe to our transformed neighbors? I don't have answers, just questions. 10:57 p.m. 63 minutes until midnight. The camp is awake now. People gathering around radios, screens, preparing to hear the president. A collective moment. A national exhale. 11 p.m. 24 hours since the first impact. One full day. The longest day. 11:03 p.m. Looking back, it's hard to believe how much has changed. Yesterday at this time, I was complaining about parking regulations. Now I'm broadcasting from an emergency shelter after an alien invasion. Life is unpredictable. 11:06 p.m. But also predictable in some ways. Humans helping humans. Communities coming together, hope persisting despite despair. These patterns repeat. Throughout history, in every crisis, the forms change, the substance doesn't. 11:09 p.m. The perimeter guards are changing shifts. Fresh eyes, fresh alertness. The system works. People doing their parts. Organization overcoming chaos. 11:12 p.m. I want to acknowledge the people we haven't talked about much. The ones who stay in the background. The ones who make things work without recognition. The technicians keeping the generators running. The cooks preparing food. The cleaners maintaining sanitation. The countless invisible essential workers. Without them, none of this functions. 11:15 p.m. Marcus just handed me coffee. Fresh made. The small luxuries that make survival bearable. Thank you, Marcus, and thank you to everyone maintaining the infrastructure of life. 11:18 p.m. The news is showing crowd scenes from around the country. People gathered, waiting for the address. United in attention, if nothing else. A nation holding its breath. 11:21 p.m. 40 minutes, until midnight. I'm going to take the remaining time to reflect, to say some things I might not get another chance to say. 11:24 p.m. To my family, I love you. I'm proud of you. Whatever happens, know that. To my friends, thank you for everything. For the good times and the support in bad times, you've made my life richer. To my listeners, thank you for trusting me, for tuning in, for being part of this community we've built. 11:27 p.m. I don't know what happens next. None of us do, but I know that we face it together. That whatever comes, we're not alone. That's not nothing. That's everything. 11:30 p.m. The stars are still out. The moon has risen, nearly full. A beautiful night if you can forget everything else. Somewhere, the affected wander. Somewhere, fires burn. Somewhere, people are still in danger. But here, right now, there's peace. Fragile, temporary, but real. 11:33 p.m. I've talked for over 23 hours today. More words than I've probably spoken in any previous week. But the talking helped, kept me focused, kept me useful. I hope it helped you too. 11:36 p.m., 24 minutes until the address. The camp is fully alert now. Everyone waiting. 11:39 p.m., let me share one final thought before the president speaks. We survived this day. Against all odds, against an attack from beyond our world, we survived. Not all of us. The losses are immense. But humanity as a species continues. That's victory. Not complete, not clean, but real. 11:42 p.m. The universe is vast and indifferent. It doesn't care about us, but we care about each other. That's our superpower. That's what keeps us going. Connection, compassion, love. 11:45 p.m., 15 minutes. The broadcast networks are preparing. The technical team's ensuring everything works. History approaches. 11:48 p.m., I don't know what the president will say. What words can capture this day? Whatever he says, it won't be enough. But it will be something. A marker. A moment. 11:51 p.m. 10 minutes. The anticipation is palpable. People leaning forward, hands clasped. 11:54 p.m. 6 minutes. I'm going to stop talking now. Let the silence build. Let the moment arrive. 11:57 p.m. 3 minutes. The world waits. 11:59 p.m. 1 minute. Midnight approaches. Midnight, day one ends. Day two begins. The president appears on screen. This is the address. I'm carrying it live. The president speaks. His voice heavy with emotion, steady with determination. He acknowledges the losses, names the scale of the tragedy, honors the fallen. He describes what we faced. An attack from beyond Earth, a threat to our existence, the first contact we never wanted. He explains what happened, the military response, the civilian heroism, the unexpected salvation from unknown allies. He outlines what comes next, the recovery, the rebuilding, the long road ahead. He calls for unity, for cooperation, for the best of humanity to guide us forward. He expresses hope, qualified, realistic hope, hope earned through suffering. He closes with a promise that we will remember, that we will rebuild, that we will be ready if the threat returns, that we will survive. The address ends. 12:15 a.m. Day 2. The secure zone is quiet. The words sink in. Tomorrow, the work continues. Tonight, we rest. 12:18 a.m. This is Daniel Rothman on 104.7 F. We've been through something extraordinary, something none of us expected or asked for, but we're still here, still standing, still human. 12:21 a.m. I'm going to sign off for the night. Get some sleep. Be ready for tomorrow. Marcus will continue the broadcast with updates and information. Thank you for being with me through this day, for listening, for surviving. 12:24 a.m. The night is quiet, the stars shine, the camp sleeps. Tomorrow brings challenges we can't yet imagine, but tomorrow also brings sunrise, and with it, hope. 12:27 a.m. This is Daniel Rothman, Tono 4.7. Stay safe, stay human, stay together. Good night, survivors. See you.